No, I am so sleep deprived, guys. It is fucking wild. I had a flight delayed for 7 hours at 12 a.m. and I did not get home until some not enough time after that. And man, do I have a headache. So I'm ready to have a really good faith debate with someone who understands politics and is good faith and clearly is sticking with Trump because of his policies and not his character. And actually, his policies are super good. I'm just super excited. So I hope you guys are ready for this. I will shortly appear on screen, a disheveled, broken soy boy.
Let's just roll it. Let's just get it started. He's got enough people in the stream. We don't have to wait for the audience here.
Oh, you're watching my stream, Rico? Thank you for supporting me.
Yeah, I'm subscribed to you, bro. I'm subscribed to you for a long time.
Aw. That's so sweet.
I like your videos.
Let's hope that,
You like my videos?
let's hope that more.
No, you're just buttering me up. This isn't gonna work.
I'm serious. I like your MAGA videos. I especially like the ones that you made during the election cycle. I thought it was pretty interesting.
Okay.
Let's see if more people in the text on the stream will say that I should do audiobooks.
You might have to.
See, now I can't mute and talk to my stream about you because you're listening. So they can't hear me say, I must not be a very good content creator. If you like my videos, watch them, and you still are MAGA. What is going on? What am I doing? I must have
Just wasn't convincing,
fucking
but I have to listen to the opposing side, right?
dog shit arguments.
You didn't convince me.
All right, let's get it rolling. So
All right, let's get it rolling.
Soy and Rico, guys both have seen the 10 topics. I think it's fair to possibly have the option to. I think we should do like one veto each. If there's a topic or motion that you just don't want to discuss, you just have the ability to say, "Hey, I veto that," and we can move on to the next one. Other than that, let's just get it rolling. So we'll start with the 5 minutes on the opening statements. Obviously, this is based on the Iran conflict. Let's add the guest of honor. Soy, why don't we have you go first?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I really should have wrote an opening statement. I don't know. This just seemed like a total clusterfuck from my perception. If you just go through the timeline since this war started, it doesn't even seem like this was something that the U.S. wanted to do. We were kind of harangued into it by Israel, if Marco Rubio is to be believed, but maybe not. There could be other goals that we have. Every time Trump states a goal and whether or not the war is over, he then contradicts himself within either the same day or a few days later. So he's just constantly lying or exaggerating, and Pete Hegseth and everyone else is covering for him. He had to engage in this war unilaterally. It's hurting his numbers economy-wise. Like, we have global inflation coming up. All the world bankers are talking about how fucked we are. Gas prices are high. His approval rating is at an all-time low. Every ceasefire has been violated, either by us or by them. The supposed memorandum of understanding seems to be not even as good as the JCPOA, which Trump exited, and is not going to get us what we wanted, because now they can like toll the Strait of Hormuz, so it actually gives them more power. And so by all means, it seems like this has just been a big L for us, even if we've accomplished some of these short-term goals on the way. So I'm curious to hear how that's defended. I would see this as nothing but a big L on our part. I think America really fucked up, and Trump is a big bumbling buffoon. Anyone who still simps for him is cringe. That's the end of my opening statement.
Awesome. All right, Rico, big dog, your turn.
So the first responsibility of any president is not to make the world comfortable. It's to keep the American people safe, right? So for decades, the Iranian government has funded terrorist organizations, attacked American interests through proxy groups, threatened our allies, and openly called for the destruction of the United States itself. So I think that ignoring these actions does not, in fact, bring peace. It brings more aggression. History does teach us that, weakness encourages hostile regimes. Strength deters them. When the president says peace through strength, he really means it, and it does, in fact, work. That's how he ended 9 wars in 9 months, as is famously said. So when we demonstrate that attacks on our forces, our allies, and our interests will have serious consequences, I believe our enemies are forced to think twice before acting. Peace is preserved not by empty words, but by credible strength. So I just want to frame this out for you. I don't think this debate is about whether the war is tragic or not. It is. Every American hopes military force is, in fact, the last option. The question is whether refusing to act against a dangerous adversary makes America safer. I think the answer is clearly no. When you have a country like Iran and you have these terror proxies that they're funding. If you demystify these problems and look at it from a purely realpolitik, brass tacks, geopolitical level, what you'll find is that the United States has everything to gain and also everything to lose. Inaction is going to cost us way more in the long run than the short-term pain that we accrue from pursuing this war in the first place. I think that the United States, under the glorious leadership of our President Trump, has in fact met the challenges, and we will continue to meet those challenges if we're able to demystify some of these problems and look at it from a long-term perspective. That's the end of my statement.
Awesome. All right. Let's move on to the first motion here. On the maximum pressure doctrine. And the premise is the United States must prioritize maximum military and economic pressure over diplomatic engagement to deter Iranian aggression. Okay. So we'll start with Rico on this. You'll get 3 minutes to respond to the motion.
Sorry, you broke up a little bit as you asked the question. Could you state it one more time?
Did I? Okay, my bad. So the first question is on the maximum pressure doctrine. And the premise is the United States must prioritize maximum military and economic pressure over diplomatic engagement to deter Iranian aggression. So we'll have one person arguing for, one person arguing against, which I think we already know who that's going to be.
Are we allowed to address any of the stuff that was said in opening statements here? I feel like I'm going to start losing track of it. Like, I don't want to derail everything completely, but like, there's like a lot of things to cover, and I think a lot of stuff's going to get lost in the weeds if we like.
If he wants to go first, he can go first. I don't mind. You can go first.
Yeah, I mean, we could do like a quick 3 minutes each if you want to respond to the opening statements. I don't see a problem with that.
Okay. Sure. Because I mean, I liked Rico's framing of like, yeah, we can't ignore terrorism because that is one of the like most softball, easiest policies that anyone can support. Yeah, we shouldn't just let terrorists do terrorist things. But I'm curious as to how you think the Iranian terror threat has been reduced significantly by what we've done so far. I mean, you can look at the proxy terrorism funding, which obviously is bad, from Iran, spike significantly after Trump withdrew from the JCPOA. I mean, this kind of leads into this first topic, but it's like the way that we dealt with these things diplomatically and trying to form deals was a very good like deterrent for making sure that Iran and us are on better terms going forward. And as soon as we backed out of our own deals and threatened more, sanctions or any other threats, the terrorism increased because, yeah, this doesn't justify terrorism, of course, but like if we give them no reason to cooperate with us, which is what Trump has been doing, they're going to do that. So, yeah, we need to show terrorists that actions have consequences. Yes, of course, but this is clearly not going to be the case. And for all intents and purposes, it seems like this war has left Iran in a better negotiating spot than it did even during the JCPOA and definitely before the war, it seems. So, if you could touch on that, that'd be really interesting. And
yeah, for sure.
Last thing. Side note.
For sure.
Can you name the 9 wars he ended in 9 months? I don't think that's true.
Yeah. So first of all, how did we in fact degrade, Iran's terror proxy capacity? Is by working with our allies. It's by working with our greatest ally, which is Israel. Israel was facing cross-border attacks in the north by the Golan Heights from Hezbollah, an honest-to-God terrorist organization. They were launching FPV drones in. By bolstering our allies in that region, not only including Israel, but also Saudi Arabia, the GCC countries, we have put the Iranian proxies in a position of weakness. Israel has totally degraded Hezbollah. Israel is about to win the war in Gaza. That's Hamas, that's Hezbollah, and the Houthis are next. So we're knocking down, these proxies, but the head of the snake still remains. How does it help the United States for us to, first of all, you stated that, let me just say this right now. We got to get out of the mindset that we can diplomatically, through diplomacy alone, through trying to goad these people using money or whatever to come onto our side, to see the light of reason, is just totally false. We here in the West are weird, What we believe is weird. We believe in international norms. We believe in the rule of law. These people do not. These people are radical. These people, when offered $300 billion in unfrozen assets, went on to continue bombing civilian cargo ships in the Strait. These are not people that can be reasoned with. And to the extent that we tried, the only thing that we proved to Congress was that we need the authorization for war immediately. Because if they're going to turn down a country's worth of money, if they're going to continue on attacking the Strait, if they're going to continue on knowing that they don't have any air superiority, try to bait the United States into a total war with them, then the United States has every standing, has every capability to militarily degrade these people. We have. They're down to their last 20% in ballistic missiles. They're down to their last 15 in Shahed drones. We have total air domination. Just a couple nights ago, we attacked as far north as 200 miles north of Tehran, and we knocked out a railway corridor that connects them with Turkmenistan that allows them to skirt the sanctions that the United States has placed on them. This is a war, and we have to prosecute it. I just don't understand what other way we can do it. The JCPOA, Barack Hussein Obama, it was false. It was bad. It was a terrible deal. He went over there and gave them hugs and kisses. We gave them bombs. Okay, that's the difference. And guess who they're going to listen to first? They're going to listen to the bombs first, because these are evil, crazy people. These people can never have a nuclear weapon. And if we allow these people to continue on doing the things that they're doing in that region of the world, we will lose that region of the world. And that's it.
Okay, so cool. This is good because we've now stepped definitely into the first topic of diplomacy versus war. You say these people can't be reasoned with. So I'm confused as to how you can look at the JCPOA, which accomplished pretty much every goal we were really shooting for. It reduced their, desire to fund proxy terrorism to an extent. I mean, if you look at the level of activity before and after that we withdrew from it, if you look at the metrics for enriching uranium, like they were more than happy to comply. And this is like the one thing that every person, every independent group and our allies agreed on. The Israel, American intelligence, the IAEA all said they are not enriching past what they are supposed to be doing. So clearly they are capable of negotiations. So you can say this didn't, go far enough or whatever Trump talking point about how it was a bad deal for us. It seemed like it was accomplishing the goals we set out to do. That's why it had, unilateral, not just support from America, but support from Europe and all these other allies. And our greatest ally, Israel, supported it as well. I'm confused as to how you can look at that and say these people are beyond negotiation when we were the ones who violated that. We just said, you know what, for no fucking reason, we're going to pull out of this thing we promised. And now this is what's happening. Now we have, made them want to escalate because we've increased tensions. They've increased terrorism, they've increased enrichment because we gave them a good deal that benefited both of us, that the entire international community said this is good, and now because some fucking dipshit comes in and undoes it, now we're forced to go to war. I'm not sure how you can now say these people are beyond negotiation. And again, I know this is a side point, so you might have forgot to address it, but what 9 wars did he end? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. So the JCPOA, okay, Barack Hussein Obama, the worst president in American history, devised this deal, and he didn't have any guardrails attached to it. The IAEA, okay. Mm-hmm. We want to talk about the international community. Let's talk about the United Nations for a moment. Who runs the IAEA? The United Nations also has a portion of it called the UNRWA, which is creating schools in Gaza and giving out materials on how to be a terrorist to Gazan children. Okay, we cannot trust these people.
Wait, can I pause you real quick? I just want to make sure. Yeah, the UN doesn't run the IAEA. They report to the UN, but it's not a subsidiary or subgroup of the UN. It's an international.
Okay, they work with the UN. They work very strongly. Okay,
sure.
And this is the same United Nations, the same international organizations that, number one, funds or aids and abets the terror proxies that Iran itself is funding, and also, too, the most important thing. Iran in 2019, 1 year after we pulled out of the deal, we found out that they still had uranium-235 in their centrifuges and underneath Fordow. They weren't even supposed to have that. This idea that we can trust the Iranians with a single drop of nuclear material, highly enriched nuclear material, it's Western hubris. We can't trust these people. The idea is to get every single drop of highly enriched uranium, or the nuclear dust, I know it's cute, it's funny, right, out of the country, because these people, if allowed to have this highly enriched uranium, will just in fact create a nuclear bomb. These people have a dogma against the United States. They call us the little Satan. They call Israel the big Satan. We have to make sure, if we have the force required to protect ourselves, our allies, and our assets in that region, we have to control that region. It's a region so important to our country.
I'm curious, because even I was skeptical of this, but having looked into it, I have not found anything significant. What evidence do you have that Iran has a desire to have a nuclear bomb?
The fact that they chant "Death to America," the fact that they
No,
have
no,
a
like no.
ICBM, the fact that they have an ICBM, they're developing an ICBM capacity that can go up to 2,000 kilometers. They lobbed an ICBM into the Indian Ocean. They have an ICBM that can go up to 2,000 kilometers. Now, for what reason would they ever need that? What do you think they're creating a space? What, the Iranian space program, the Islamic space program? Give me a break. The fact of the matter is, these people are following the same steps that the United States took in order to create a nuclear weapons system that they can have, that they can use, that they can threaten us with. And if you already agree, if you're somebody who agrees that Iran has the capacity to shut down the Strait, 20% of the world's oil, then you would also have to agree that if they had a nuclear weapon and they did use their economic blackmail to shut down the Strait with a nuclear weapon, we wouldn't be able to do anything about it. Well, this would be a North Korea in control of 20% of the world's oil supply.
The reality is that we can't do anything about it now, right? Like, we can threaten them, and we've been able to push them into opening the Strait up with deals like Trump saying, I'm going to wipe a nation, or, you know, essentially threatening genocide on this country, like a nation or a culture will cease to exist, whatever insane thing he said. But you don't need a nuclear bomb to shut down the Strait of Hormuz. You need basically one guy with an RPG, because you've got an incredibly narrow thing that is easily controllable.
Sorry?
It's just how the... Huh?
Wait, what?
You don't.
You can shut down the Strait with an RPG, a shoulder-fired RPG.
I mean, that's an exaggeration, but basically, like, you don't need a nuclear, you know, weapon of mass destruction to shut down this land mass that is, you know, constricted, and it's a natural land formation that does not allow a lot of leeway for who gets in and out, and because they own the territory around there, like, they just have that control.
What are they using to shut down the Strait? Soy. Hang on, so important. Mm-hmm. What are they using to shut down the Strait right now? As we speak.
I'm not quite sure the military technology that they're using at the moment.
They're using the things that we're destroying. They're using ballistic missiles. They're using Shahed drones. They're using fast attack boats. Did you know that they don't have a navy anymore? Their navy is effectively gone.
Decimated.
We've destroyed their fast attacks. We've destroyed their corvettes. We've destroyed their battleships. We destroyed the very ports that they dock at.
Okay.
Bandar Abbas is basically going to turn into a shithole, okay, because of us, because we have the power to do so. Mm-hmm. They can't control the Strait. And if you look at Project Freedom,
why is the Strait
I think
closed?
A couple weeks ago, when we it's not closed. We control it. We snuck out 2 million barrels of oil.
We snuck out 2 billion? I thought they allowed those out.
No.
Then why did Trump say they allowed those out? What do you mean?
What the president was trying to say, and I'm very keenly aware of what the president was saying, what the president was in fact trying to say is not that they allowed it out, but that we philosophically they allowed it out because they know they don't have any other option. They have to allow it out. We are allowing them to play the big guy on the Strait, okay, but not for long. Also, too,
I'm confused. So, if his big deal, his big great memorandum of understanding that he touts as this like amazing peace brokerage that he has, which by the way, like he started off this war saying we demand total surrender, and we're not getting that. That's very clear. He's changed his goal several times. But let's say his big deal is this great one. Why is it that they get total control over the Strait and actually have more control over it than they did before? Because now they can charge tolls. This seems like this is not us having control of the Strait whatsoever. It's, if anything, giving them more control than they had when we started this war.
This just it doesn't track, because here's the thing: they're not charging any tolls. If to the extent that they are charging tolls,
no, they're not now. I'm saying this is what the memorandum.
Here's the thing: if they charge tolls, we have a blockade. Okay, they're going to pay the money, and then they're not going to go anywhere. They're going to stay in the Strait because the United States has the ability to blockade the Strait. We don't want to do that. We want to find a conclusion.
I think you're confused because that would happen if we were not suggesting that was the deal, right? We're offering this to them. We are agreeing to let them charge tolls in the memorandum of understanding. So we wouldn't be blockading them out of that. We would agree to not be blockading them. That was the piece,
because the MOU is done. We're not doing the MOU.
I know, and I think that's a point out of your favor that clearly this guy cannot maintain peace deals.
Not a point. How is it a point out of my favor?
Because this is his big win. His big win. The art of the deal is to tout how...
I know the art of the deal. Let me explain to you the art of the deal.
Okay, tell me the art of the deal.
Let me explain to you how the MOU was in line with the art of the deal. The Trumpian philosophy of the greatest president in American history. So we presented this MOU as a proof of concept. We wanted to show Congress that no matter what we offer these people, whether it be $300 billion and a blowjob, they wouldn't take it. These people are so deranged that they would not take back an entire country's worth of economic benefit because they are dogmatically aligned against the West and the United States of America and Israel. Okay, so with that being said, now that we know this, it will be an easy sell for the president to go to Congress and get the authorization to actually go to war with Iran.
Oh.
Because if you understand how
Do you-
Congress works, the president has to get authorization to actually make war with Iran. So this was simply a proof of concept.
Can I summarize? Because I want to make sure I'm understanding. So
Sure.
Trump wanted authorization for the war, right? He wants Congress to approve it, but he knew that he couldn't get it. So he illegally started the war, promised several things over the course of months, lied about when it was going to be done and how fast it would be, lied about it being won several times, and went back on that, all leading up to three. Well, let me finish. You can tell me which parts are wrong. All the way up till today, where he finally got to the second ceasefire deal, the first one having already failed, and this was better deal for Iran than the JCPOA. And then once that was broken, then he's going to go to Congress to get them to approve the war that he's been doing for 3 months. This is his ultimate art of the deal.
So, first of all, the war wasn't started illegally. The president has the right to act and make war based upon an imminent threat to the country. There is an imminent threat to the country. Iran was 2 weeks away from acquiring a nuclear weapon, according to the data that we received from the CIA and Mossad. They were enriched up to 60% in 24. Second of all, the president does require after 60 days to get an authorization of use of military force from the Congress. The Congress was hesitant to pass it. Now that we have the proof of concept, and we can show Congress that there's no way that negotiations can be done with these people in line with the president's vision of Iran never having a nuclear weapon, which most of the American people agree with. After all, they saw the 200 of Marines that were killed in Beirut by these sick people. They will in fact give us an authorization of use of military force. If we don't have the authorization, what we can do is we can just use the post 9/11 authorization, but we don't want to go there. We want to get the American people on our side. We are the true Democrats. We believe in democracy. But with that being said, yes, the MOU was almost like the Israel-Hamas deal that happened like a year ago, right? They're still on stage one. Now Hamas is now disbanding their political organization, but also too they never disarmed. So it was a stopgap. It was a long ceasefire to give us a chance to regroup and get the domestic oil producers on board with increasing output, which has been increased a lot. We're not going to run out of oil. I don't know, everybody's fear-mongering about this, but for you to call the president's actions against this imminent threat, this terrorist regime, an illegal action, just goes to show that your sympathies lie more with the terrorists than they do with America. You hate America.
No, I don't hate America. I'm just aware of how congressional approval for war works, and whether or not they were 2 weeks away from a nuclear weapon. I mean, I have yet to see solid evidence for this. Israel and certain Americans have been claiming this over and over and over for years. The IAEA, as of recently, said that no, they were not close to a nuclear weapon. The Center for Non-Proliferation Studies said they were close to 2 weeks away from a nuclear weapon. When they enriched to 60%, and I think they believe it's 90% they need to get to actually make that nuclear weapon, they are not doing so because they're trying to make the nuke necessarily. They're posturing that they're about to make the nuke if they're not getting what they want. They're using this as a negotiation tactic, and you can see from statements from even the people who do chant death to the great Satan, death to America, that they don't want to lose that negotiating power, because once they have that nuke, then you essentially become North Korea, and it's not nearly so easy to have everything you want. You just are preventing, people from attacking you, and what's happening now. But they do kind of want to get back to where that JCPOA was. So, again, what indication do you have?
Then why didn't they take the $300 billion? Why did they continue attacking the ships in the Strait when they got offered $300 billion, which is like 20 times more than what Obama ever gave them? Obama gave them $1 billion and a hug and a kiss and said, "Just give me an IOU that you won't make a nuclear weapon." Trump was willing to unseize all the assets that we had taken from Iran over the last 47 years, and they turned it down. Again,
I'm not quite sure they turned it down, because you got to. Well, no, because you have to look at all of the other things happening at the same time. It's not like this ceasefire or memorandum of understanding came through, and it's like, all right, here's the deal. We have both agreed that these are the terms. There were already conflicting reports as to what was actually in this memorandum, or agreed upon in this memorandum from both parties. Israel was not privy to it, and Israel was doing things that would violate this steps towards peace by continuing to attack Lebanon. So I don't think that this is so simple as.
Are we Israel?
Israel is an extension of us insofar as they are
Israel
our
is an extension
ally,
of us.
and yes, they are an ally that we fund and we use as our proxy
That's so fucking
satellite.
crazy to say. That's so fucking crazy.
What do
I
you
don't
think
know how
I'm?
you
Well,
could
what do you
say
think?
that
What do you think
with
I
a
mean
straight
when I
face.
say that?
You're saying that we have the ability to stop Israel from protecting its homeland. Israel has a right to defend itself. And if they feel an imminent threat, the way we felt an imminent threat from Iran, they're going to act on that imminent threat. We're not going to, they're not going to, for the sake of bringing to a peaceful end the Iran American war, stop their war between them and Hezbollah. It doesn't make any
When I
sense.
say Israel
Israel's
is an
getting attacked
extension of us,
every
I don't
single
mean
day
they're just
from
America.
FPV drones.
I'm just trying to clarify. Israel is not beholden to us altogether, but we have a lot of leverage over an ally that we fund to the tunes of billions, if not trillions of dollars. And we do, have the leverage to say, hey, you shouldn't be doing this, include them in negotiations and make those steps towards peace. All I'm saying is they were not in compliance with what we wanted to, well, what Trump wanted to have this MOU like go through and to just say, oh, Iran just turned it down. I think you're ignoring just how, significant. There's a lot of more nuance and moving pieces than just, oh, okay, yes or no. But again,
Okay.
I want to explore your theory. Where do you
Okay, go
see
ahead.
that now this is leading to Congress actually moving towards, approving this now that this memorandum and the ceasefire has been violated? Like, have you seen Chuck Schumer or any of the Democrats who would otherwise have been voting to condemn this war in previous weeks are now saying, actually, no, this is an indication that Iran will never play ball with us, and we're going to vote to legalize this, which apparently doesn't matter, right? Because you said they were 2 weeks away from a nuke, so why would he need that? But regardless, where are you seeing this movement towards more approval from Congress?
So first of all, I just want to just take down this painting that you were trying to draw. Okay. We have no control over what Israel does about its national security. It's crazy to even think that we would have any type of say in the defense of this foreign country. Israel is a foreign country with its own interests. If Israel's being attacked on the Golan Heights, if they're being attacked in Kibbutz Be'eri from Gaza, if they're being attacked on both sides, they're obviously going to do the things. Now, you should really be saying that Iran was dumb for pinning us together with that separate war, right? You should say that Iran was totally crazy for saying that the United States had any capacity or capability to stop
Wait,
Israel from pursuing action
wait,
against the terrorists that seek to destroy it.
Rico, real quick.
But here,
Maybe we
just to
don't. Well,
finish.
maybe we don't disagree on this. Okay, I'm not saying that we can tell Israel just let other states bomb you, right? What I'm saying is that we have the capacity to exert extreme diplomatic leverage over someone that we fund their military, right? That is what I'm saying. So if we said, "Hey, Israel, we might leverage said funding to get you to not bomb Hezbollah in Lebanon right now because we are trying to work towards this peace deal," which apparently Trump didn't actually want to have. He knew it would never happen. He wants to, use this as a negotiating tactic, but we would be able to do that. But these two things are contradictory anyway. It seems like Trump wouldn't want to do that. He would want Israel to sabotage it or provoke Iran because he's using it to get a congressional approval anyway. So I guess it doesn't really matter. I don't know why you want to defend it at any point. It seems like he
I
wouldn't
don't know
want
why
it.
you're even bringing up the MOU. First of all, the MOU is done, it's toast. Also, too, it's crazy to think that Iran would put as a provision within the MOU the idea that we can just pull Israel back, like it's a state, like Israel is like the 51st state. It's not.
Do you
Okay,
you
but
don't think we have any leverage
most
over them?
importantly, just to finish, we do have leverage. But just to finish, the most important thing is this: these people turned down $300 billion. Okay, this is a country that just had a lot of protests in the streets. They killed a lot of them. Obviously, 30,000 were killed. A lot of protests in the streets over their economy. We offered them an entire, basically a new economy. Here, we'll give you a new economy. They need that money. The fact that they turned it down just goes to show, okay, that we will not have any progress in any type of diplomatic processions with this country. This country is full of crazy, radical Islamic terrorists. We killed the leadership. We killed over 70 of their leaders, and it turns out the third tier guys are just as bad as the first tier guys. And so I think the fact of the matter is we just now have to pursue this war. We started this war. I think you and I can both agree if we're in it, we got to win it. This idea that we're sitting here going back and forth about some MOU, this deal, talking about Barack Hussein Obama's deal is just totally irrelevant. Okay.
Well, I don't
I just
think it's
want to ask you,
irrelevant
do you
because
think that if we're in it, we got to win it, right? Yes.
I don't know what winning looks like. For example, I would consider the JCPOA a win. You obviously wouldn't. I would consider this MOU not a victory, but a good thing as we are moving away from extended conflict. We're able to reopen the strait and the global economy can start getting back on track. So I don't know what a win looks like to you. What is total victory from Trump here? I mean, we went into this with, like, what? I think it was the 4 goals was denuclearization, reduction of their ability to fund the proxy wars. What were the other ones? It was degrade their drone and missile capability, and destroy their air defense. So my understanding is that their nuclear program, yeah, it's definitely set back, but they can rebuild it. Nothing's stopping them from doing that now, and they have no incentive to stop if we keep violating these ceasefires. They've, I think, violated this second one, but that's, again, open to interpretation. Fog of war stuff right now. Their drone and missile capability, I don't know to what degree their drones are disabled,
Totally
but
degraded.
okay, sure. I'd have to look that one up again, but they still have 70% of their pre-war missile inventory. So I'm not quite sure this, like, oh, they're almost out of missiles. Oh, they can't fight back. If they can't fight back, why haven't we won? Why hasn't there been total surrender? Like, I'm not quite sure, like, how these two things can be held in your brain at the same time when clearly they are contradictory. It's just not true. Like, unless we just keep extending and extending and extending, and eventually we're able to just march in completely unopposed, it would seem like they still have the ability to hold out, and it's not going well.
Okay, I don't know if you're thinking in terms of like this world, this physical planet that we live on, or if you're thinking in terms of like Civilization 7 or something. You don't just degrade an enemy and then you click the button and then boom, you control the country. That's not how it works.
Okay.
We have to sustain the degradation of their military, and then after that, we would probably have to put boots on the ground to actually foster surrender from these people. Okay, so, and you're talking about they have an ability to respond. We just saw a couple days ago that in fact they do not. They launched attacks on Bahrain against our Fifth Fleet off the coast of Bahrain, and the air defense systems, which we pay for, which we installed, work completely fine. Our Fifth Fleet is totally intact. It's been sitting there off the coast of Bahrain, not too far away from Iran, with all these ballistic missiles for quite a long time. Everything that you see in the mainstream, the lamestream media is in fact a lie. When they say Iran has the ability to totally destroy, they're going to destroy the GCC countries and it's going to be a depression. No, it's not. It gets shot down. These people can't do anything. We go in and we go 200 miles north of Tehran. We shoot down a railway bridge. We go to Chakadak. We destroy airports. We go to Isfahan. We destroy everything. We do Midnight Hammer. They didn't even see our B-2 bombers in the air. We have total air superiority over this country. If we wanted to, in fact, carry out the rhetoric of the president on Easter when he said that an entire civilization dies tonight, we in fact reserve that the ability to do that. So I don't know what is so like confusing about this.
What does victory look like to you? When is this happening, and how is Trump accomplishing it? That's what I'm still confused about.
Unconditional surrender.
Okay. And what indication do you have that this is going to happen?
The fact that we're just going to keep killing them until they do. They have no other option. They can't sustain the war. They can't sustain it. They don't have the means to sustain a war.
Well, it seems
if
like
we go for 1 year, hang on, let me just say this. Let me put your mind. You asked me a question. Let me respond. Extrapolate out to 1 year. We're continuing the attacks on Iran with our air superiority. We're flying F-16s with JDAMs. Shoot, bing, boom, bye. Okay. No radars. Everything's gone. Airports gone. Missile systems gone. Missile manufacturing capacity gone. We can do that for like a year. These people, they're down to they're down to their dick and balls on missiles. If they fire 2 more, that's like 2 out of 10 for these people. So they have to really count their shots. We don't. We have the strongest military in the world. The fact that you're trying to say that Iran is like this big force, it's not a big threat. Iran is nothing. Iran is like a baby compared to the United States. It's nothing.
Okay, so when Trump says, we've won the war, they're decimated, 2 months ago, and skip forward 2 months, and Iran still has leverage. They're able to shut down the strait whenever they want, it seems, and we can't stop them right now. Why do you think that, first of all, we're close to winning? Or do you think that after a year, yeah, we'll be degrading them a little more, but it seems like they don't need a lot of resources to be shutting down this strait. I mean, drones are notoriously not very expensive. So I think it seems, and a lot of international experts seem to agree, that the longer they can prolong this, it's not about total war. We have the strongest military. We could win in an open battle, right? It's how long can Iran exert the leverage of holding the world's economy hostage because of our demands? How long can they keep negotiating and saying, no, you have to go for our agreements, and we don't care what you're bombing because we can just keep shutting down the strait? Maybe they can't do it for a year. Maybe they can do it for 5. It's tanking the economy. It's fucking over Americans' day-to-day lives, and this is exerting pressure on Trump himself. Where do you see this ending? Is it ending a couple weeks from now, like Trump says? Is that just a lie, a negotiating tactic? Is it a year? Is it 5? Well, it seems like a round can keep going pretty long, and that's bad for us the longer that goes, right?
First of all, It's not going to tank the economy. Okay, that's another mainstream media lie. It's not going to do that because when oil prices go up, it's a windfall to our U.S. oil firms. We actually make more money when the oil prices go higher. Couple that with the
We
output from
we
Canada
or
and
they make
Russia.
more money. I'm
We
not
make
making
more
more
money.
money. I'm paying more at the station. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I mean, if this is like $1 extra at the station, if that's the end of the world, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, it's a
Because it's all
pretty
about
big
short-term
deal
pain for
breaker for a
long-term
lot
gain.
of people, considering this
Well,
is
to be
like
honest with you, I really don't care what the people think. I don't care
okay.
because the people don't understand the long-term vision of making sure that these radical Islamic terrorists don't get their hand on a weapon of mass destruction. Number one, and number two, we also need to make sure that China doesn't have an has easy access to the Middle East in order to continue their Belt and Road Initiative, which would kick us out of the East, which would be the end of our currency. If you're worried about the gas price now, imagine if we lose the global reserve currency. Okay,
Well, I'm
so
glad
all
you
these
mentioned
things need
China
to be
because
taken
it
into
seems
account.
like every international like energy expert is saying that this entire war has been a huge boon to China because everyone now is scared that Iran is going to exert control over the Strait of Hormuz, and everyone wants to switch to more renewables and move away from oil, which is just going to be this entirely benefit boon to China. They are like leading in renewable energy, and they want that to happen. So like it seems
How
like we
is it a
just
boon from China? How is it a boon for China
because
when they
they
need the oil coming from the strait?
lead the drive and sales of renewable technologies right now because we're lagging
Okay.
behind and we have this like
Now we're
regressive
going to
president.
now we're doing the green new fantasy, the green new cope. It's never going to happen. The renewables are not going to be the future of energy. We are going to need oil for a long time coming. Okay. If China wants to sell their solar panels and their windmills, the windmills that cause cancer, they can do that.
Wait,
But the world is still,
what?
until the end of time, until we run out of it, going to use oil. This idea that we're giving China a head start on renewables is just totally crazy. It's not going to happen. For these countries that you're talking about, China specifically relies on oil coming from the strait. They get their oil from the strait. So the
They
longer we
do,
keep
yeah.
it blockaded, it hurts China more. And with
Um,
coupled with the thing that I said, that windfalls, okay, it's a total boon for our domestic oil production capacity. Then it's a win-win situation for the United States. We weaken China, our oil goes up. So I don't understand
uh,
where you're coming from.
real quick, because I'm about to pull up this China quote, but why do windmills cause cancer?
I some guy told me that, and I thought it was
Was it Trump?
yeah, it might have been Trump.
Okay. So basically, what I'm saying is, yeah, obviously China does get oil from this area, and they are being hurt by it. But I think we are being more hurt because China has more of their energy sector dedicated to renewables and leads in renewable technologies because they're investing more money in it, and because more people buy solar panels and other such renewables from China. People are scared of the way that this could escalate and be shut down at any moment going forward, and it seems to be indefinite. Maybe it's a year, maybe it's more. People are going to be going to China for renewable energy to try to shift away from this being an issue, the same way Germany is trying to shift away from being reliant on Russia. They don't want that to be a liability. So when I say China's benefiting from this, I mean you can call it lamestream media. It seems like every time there's some sort of narrative, like I don't know if you
Do you
trust.
support Ukraine? Do you support Ukraine?
Yeah,
Yeah, you support the money that we give to Ukraine. You think it's a good thing if we support this proxy war against Russia?
yeah, I think it's good to support their sovereignty. Yes.
Okay, cool. Let me ask you something. How do you feel about the fact that Germany was very much reliant on this little pipeline? I'm sure you heard of it. Ever heard of the Nord Stream pipeline?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
And did you hear how the Ukrainians basically fucked us, fucked our ally,
By
and
blowing
blew
it
up the
up.
Nord Stream pipeline?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My understanding is that Germany even accused them of doing that. Yeah.
Okay. And so when you're talking about China taking advantage uh, of the situation in Iran, you also have to acknowledge the fact that some of our allies who you love, like Ukraine, our quote unquote ally, has actually aided China in uh, spreading across into Europe by blowing up the Nord Stream. I'm not worried about China. China needs that oil coming from the strait.
Okay.
The
So
only country with the only country with the ability to stop China from reaching out into Europe, from reaching out into Africa, from reaching out into the Middle East is in fact America, and Iran is their gateway. Iran's their gateway. So if we win this war against Iran, it's not only just we get rid of this the biggest funder of state terror in the world. we also totally degrade China's economic ambitions. We get to build the firewall.
Okay.
So if you're so worried about China, if you were truly worried about China, hang on, just to finish, if you were truly worried about China, okay, usurping our economic ambitions in Europe, then you would say to me right now, fuck Ukraine. We shouldn't give another dime to Ukraine after what they did to the Nord Stream. How dare you bring up China selling windmills and solar panels into Europe when you support the very people that are going to make that happen in the short term? So you support Ukraine.
I'm going to be, I mean, olive branch here. That's not a completely incoherent point. I agree that by doing so, I'm not an international politics expert, but my guess and my understanding is that Ukraine.
I can tell.
Nice. My guess was that Ukraine was trying to force Europe or whoever was reliant on this pipeline into a more anti-Russia position. And despite the fact that Germany seems to be aware that it was Ukraine, they're still fully on board with supporting Ukraine. So it's not this like, okay, and this is the deal breaker and now we can't support you anymore. It was part of a geopolitical game to try to, force people's hands. I want to read you, I mean, you can call this lamestream media. How do you feel with the New York Times? Fake news, right?
Just go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, the idea that like China that China is like not benefiting from this strait being shut down. I'm just gonna read this to you. You can tell me what you think about it. So China's major beneficiary from this war. The push to build out and diversify energy networks is going to continue long after the war ends, and China is poised to benefit the most from the expected boon in renewables. It's leagues ahead of the rest of the world in producing wind turbines, high voltage cables, transformers, solar panels, batteries, software to manage energy flows, and more. Its increasing role ensuring that other countries have a dependable supply of energy amplifies its strategic influence and importance. It looks to be an out-and-out winner, says analysts from Wood Mackenzie, the global energy consulting firm. So basically what this is saying is China is just ahead of us in a lot of renewable technologies, and as people want to shift away from oil because they know that, hey, if we were reliant on oil that could be shut down here, instead of shifting to America, which is kind of like this crazy, unpredictable, chaotic storm under Trump, let's move towards renewables. We are shifting a bunch of global money and investment into China, who now has that soft power and influence over the world. Do you think that that is a false assessment, or that's not a bad thing, or that's undone by the money that gets poured into the American sector? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, it would be a good assessment. That would be true if you're not looking at the bigger picture and the pursuit of Iran. And I love how you're trying to get away from Iran as fast as possible because
this is exactly contingent on the Iran thing.
We're doing the work to build the economic firewall. If you didn't have your guy Joe Biden in office for 4 years pushing Russia into the arms of China, strengthening BRICS, we wouldn't have this problem in the first place. As far as renewables go, we make plenty of renewables under the actions of this president, bringing some of these factories, reindustrializing America. We're going to start building American solar panels, American windmills, American solar batteries, not to mention.
Wait, why do you think we're going to be doing all of this if Trump has like moved away from all of this renewable stuff? It seems like he doesn't want to do any of this. Where's this coming from?
It's not that MAGA. It's not that MAGA has a problem with renewables. We like renewables. We just don't want to go California crazy and try to get everybody hooked on renewables because we know sometimes the sun's not in the sky. Sometimes the wind isn't blowing. Sometimes you get a big storm and your windmills get knocked down. Like
tide goes in, tide goes out. Sometimes you get some cancer.
It's so crazy to we have this wholly reliable source of energy that we can control, which is oil. It's been used for 100 years, hundreds of years, and it has not failed us. Why then would we sit back and worry about, like, what if we can't get enough windmills? If we want to build the fucking windmills, we can build the windmills. It doesn't matter. In fact, if we allow China into the Middle East with the Belt and Road, they're going to get access to the Congo where the cobalt's made, where we can get the raw materials to make these renewables in the first place. So that's a point to my side why we should be pursuing the war in Iran. Okay? Because if we lose Iran, then we lose the Middle East and in conjunction also Africa and Europe. Well, we lose our raw materials.
To be clear, we don't have Iran. We can't lose Iran yet because we don't have it, and I don't think we're going to get it. But
we're going to get it.
Okay. I think every time you kind of describe this like path forward to victory, which is total and complete surrender from Iran, you are like belying the fact that every international expert says we're nowhere close to even an end to this conflict, let alone an end to like that involves unconditional surrender. But it just seems like you're writing fan fiction of like how this is going to play out. And I like, I can point you to experts that say it'll shift the economy towards China. I can point you to experts that say Iran is entrenched and will have lots of negotiating power just by holding out. And you're pointing me to these weird like fan fictions of like, and Congress is now going to be poised.
Who are they going to negotiate with?
America and Israel and whoever else might be involved.
We're not coming to the table anymore. These people, they gave up the deal. Excuse me. They gave up the deal. They're not wanting to negotiate with us anymore. We gave them a day off from the war to go and celebrate their king terrorist funeral. And these people, the very same day, went on to bomb the strait. We're done talking to them. In fact, they called the president three times, and the president didn't answer.
Hey, there's a guy who has a question real quick for both of you. Do you mind if we bring him up?
Sure.
Okay, give me a second.
I didn't know we were doing.
Hey guys, I'll read super chats at the end, so stick around.
If you don't want to, we can just drop it. July told me.
I mean, we could do one question. I didn't realize we had a good flow going. But go ahead.
Well, yeah, it's real quick. You guys, like, I would like to just ask, because there's a lot of news recently when it comes to, like, specifically China and energy flow, especially with the strait being closed consistently. China's lost over 70% of their energy flow, by the way. Russia banned exports.
No. Hang on a second. We don't need people helping. We don't need people helping.
Well, I mean, you guys are kind of derailing, and you're not really discussing the actual topic. So that's why I'm coming in here and, like, kind of shifting it back to the energy thing, because he was going on green energy. Like, China doesn't depend on that. Their entire industrial base.
Get this guy down. We can do the debate. Get this guy down.
Is this vegan gains? Is this the vegan gains? Was that vegan gains? It sounds like him.
No, it wasn't.
No, it's a different user.
Okay.
It's a random dude.
All right, but I am privy to the idea that we are derailing a little bit here. If you want to switch back to some of the main 10 points that you had posted.
That's fine with me. What's the second point?
Where did Poop Kush go now? No, give me a second. Let me find it here now. Seems like I'm doing it. So the second point is, on targeting infrastructure, resolved. The United States is justified in targeting Iranian economic and civilian infrastructure, such as oil terminals and power grids, to force the regime compliance. Context: a direct debate over the MAGA administration's July 20, 2000. Shit, I can't talk right now. 20. Damn. Threat to strike Khan Island and this annihilating plans.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably just in reference to the idea that, like, Trump has several times threatened all the power plants and civilian infrastructure and says, if you don't comply and open up the strait, we're going to do this. This worked insofar as threats a couple times that, like, got Iran to open up the strait and come negotiate, and then he rescinded it, and then he did it again. I don't think Rico and I will necessarily super disagree on the idea that, like, yeah, this is part of negotiating in a war. It's past the point of, I think the war shouldn't have happened because I think it's illegal, but, like, whether or not they could bomb the plants, if you want to move to the next one, I don't think we're going to fight much on that.
I just want to say, yeah, I mean, I think that's a pretty, I think we can come to an agreement on that. I agree with that. Also, too, we still reserve the right to do it. We haven't done it yet, but it's not something that's, is going to go out the wayside. So,
I mean, so you're just, like, totally okay. I'm curious, like, when Trump says, like, we should wipe this civilization, or we might have to wipe a civilization off the map. Like, if he said we'll nuke Iran if there was no other way to get control of the strait, and assuming this didn't irradiate the strait itself, would you be okay with that?
I just expressed to you over a protracted period of time the existentiality of this conflict, why we need to win it, not only from a one-on-one level with Iran not getting nuclear weapons, but also from a purely geopolitical, realpolitik level on creating a firewall around China, preventing them from creating their Belt and Road Initiative. And so with that being said, if the president found it, useful, or the only option to use a nuclear weapon or to destroy their entire civilization, to bomb civilian infrastructure, to destroy their desalination facilities, to destroy their roads, their bridges, their power plants, then we have to do what we have to do. It's that simple.
Okay.
What's the next?
Yeah, we can move to the next one then.
Okay. Again,
sorry guys, those are not my Discord pings. It's coming from someone else.
What they were called and everything. So sorry. On the Strait of Hormuz, resolved, the United States must secure freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz through sustained, unretaliated military strikes, regardless of the risk of triggering a permanent regional war.
A permanent regional war? You're saying that's a risk of striking Iran?
Let me read it again. The United States must secure freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz through sustained, unretaliated on the I can't say this, military strikes, regardless of the risk of triggering a permanent regional war.
Unilateral. It's unilateral. It's through sustained unilateral military strikes, regardless of the risk of triggering a permanent regional war.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I agree.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think about it, Soy? Obviously, I agree with that.
I mean, obviously, it would be more ideal to the interests of America if we had control of the Strait of Hormuz. Whether or not we can get it seems to be obviously in question. We've been looking for this the entire time. We've claimed to have, the ability to open it up whenever we wanted. Then we decided that the solution was to let them have more control than they had before. Now we're saying, no, okay, like, MOU violated, now we're going to come at you again. I don't see us getting control of this anytime soon. It requires very little effort in military technology for them to shut it down whenever they want. And, like, our threats don't seem to be pushing us towards a greater control of this. We have said this is, like, one of our biggest goals since the beginning, and time and time again, we've shown we don't have control, or the control that Trump is claiming that we can exert. So I'm not quite sure.
So when we snuck out
it.
2 million barrels of oil, under Project Freedom, what makes you okay? Let me ask you this, because I think this is a good point to sink on. Why do you not think that the United States could ever gain control of the strait? Like, what is so crazy about saying that?
I don't think we could never do it. I think if we, like you said, if we did some prolonged, Iraq style, we're just gonna keep this down, war of attrition type thing, I'm sure we could eventually get control of it. Or if we put boots on the ground and forced our way through and risk more American lives, I'm sure there's ways that the most powerful military in the world could get control of this. But the kind of things that we're doing now and the ways that we're going about it don't seem to be getting us there, and there are reasons.
So it's not that you don't think we can do it, it's that you don't want to do it. You don't want to take the risk.
Well, like you said, if we nuked Tehran tomorrow, we could secure total surrender if we nuked Tehran.
Why do you keep going into La La Land, bro? Stop with the La La Land.
I'm not the one going into fan fiction, buddy.
We don't have to nuke Tehran, bro.
Yes, but you'd be okay with it, to be clear. The things
that we I mean, but that's so crazy to say. Like, why? That's not even on the table. This idea, first of all, let me just say this.
Well, hold on. Just to be clear, Trump said, a civilization might end tonight. So maybe not a nuke, but it's on the table of, like, we would just wipe out Iran to get what we want. But clearly, he's not going to do that because he knows how that would look. There's reasons we don't have control over the strait now. In the same way, like, we could have won Vietnam if we used nukes. We could have won Vietnam if we were willing to put more American lives at risk, but we didn't. Right? There are reasons like we don't. Bro. Why is this fan fiction? I'm sorry. You and I agree that America has the most powerful military. If we wanted to, we could do some crazy fuck shit and win, right? We could invade this, like, mountainous region with boots on the ground and take over Iran if we really wanted to, at great risk to American personnel.
We also have to signal to the world that we're still willing to abide by the rules of engagement, the escalation ladder, which is...
Yes, you're agreeing with me. Yes, that's what I'm saying. There's reasons why we haven't done that.
All right, but let me just finish.
Okay.
This idea that that nuking Tehran is on the table is just totally crazy.
I didn't say it was on the table.
This is like one of those things where you have to, again, demystify this entire situation. Can we control the strait? Yes. Do we have control of the strait right now? No. The fact of the matter is we have more opportunity to control the strait than they do. We can sustain a campaign against Iran longer than they can sustain a campaign against us and our allies. The fact of the matter is when America goes for like a year. Let's say we go for a year. We do shock and awe every single day, which we can afford. We can do shock and awe every single day in Chakadak, in Bandar Abbas, in Tehran, and other places, Isfahan, Natanz, Fordo. At some point, they're going to be so degraded that they wouldn't even have a 22 caliber gun to shoot into the Strait of Hormuz.
Where do you see that? Where do you see that happening? How long until that happens when they're so degraded?
Perhaps a year, maybe more. I don't know. I mean, this is something that we can do.
Okay, just real quick, small point. Why does Trump say it's almost over if it's going to take a little more than a year to really get to the point where we won?
Look, it just depends on. So time is subjective. Okay, when he says it's almost over, it might be one of those things where he's thinking in terms of maybe a year. It's almost over. A year's not too far away. We might get the end of the Iran war before GTA 6. You never know. But the fact of the matter is, the military capacity of America is not the same as the military capacity of Iran, especially since we have air superiority in order to continuously degrade them. If we have to go boots on the ground, the only situation in which we would go boots on the ground is in a scenario in which we've so degraded them that they don't even pose a threat. It's going to be like walking into a baby shower. Hello, we're here. Okay. So just stop with the rhetoric. Demystify this entire thing. This is a war just like any other war that America has ever fought. We controlled Afghanistan for 20 years. We took out Saddam basically overnight in 2003. We have the capacity. These people are down to their dick and balls and ballistics. These people are down to their last and Shahed drones. We're destroying their military facilities. They can't even build them anymore. At the end of the day, America walks out of this conflict, okay? Whether it's through the total destruction of their civilization or not, with a victory in Iran. The only way that cannot happen is if we get crazy people like you into Congress and they stop it.
Okay. Well, wait, why would it matter? Because you said Congress is on board now that they see that Iran won't negotiate, right?
Well, I'm looking
the art
at
of the
these
deal.
I'm looking at these pro-Iranian DSA freaks who are winning in my city right now, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, when these guys get to Congress, will they just say, okay, we can't defend ourselves anymore? That's what these people want. One of your guys who just won recently, she's a girl actually.
Darya
She said America
Chavalet?
deserved 9/11. Yeah, Chavalet. She said America deserved 9/11. The only way we can win this war is if philosophies like that are allowed to foment in our country to the point that we stop the prosecution of this war. Which
no, but you, like you said, like they're not going to be the deciding votes. Trump has now gotten the leverage to harangue Congress into declaring the war legal, right? Like after the MOU's been violated, that was the whole point of why he didn't actually want that to be the end point.
I'm sorry, you broke up. What did you say?
Yeah, so you said that the MOU being violated was all part of the art of the deal, that by doing so now he's shown Congress that they need to vote to allow this to continue and allow him more power and to engage in this war, make it legal, authorize it, because that's how we hold out, and then it'll go for a year. Like it doesn't really matter about these new candidates, right? Like he's got control of the current Congress, or he's about to have control of the will of the mandate of the current Congress, right?
Yeah, no, I mean I agree with you, and also
no, I'm not agreeing with that. I'm trying to restate your position. I think that's insane. Like I have no idea why you think that. Where you get again?
I'll tell you what.
I mean, we can jump back to this.
After everything that I laid out, after everything I laid out, all I'm simply trying to say is it's a matter of political will and not military capacity. We have the military capacity, we have the defensive structure, we have the offensive structure in order to wage this war for a long period of time. I don't think we'll have to wage it for a long period of time. Again, time is whatever you think a long time is. I think a year, maybe two, they'll be so degraded that we can simply just walk in and take it.
So
but
if time is subjective and that
will.
might be a short time, then why were they saying, 4 to 6 weeks at the beginning? Were they lying, or were they just hedging their bets, or what do you mean?
No, what the president was trying to say is when the president said 4 to 6 weeks, he wasn't talking about 4 to 6 weeks from beginning to end. When he said 4 to 6 weeks, he meant 4 to 6 weeks from beginning of the beginning to the beginning of the end, for the end to start. That's why when we had the MOU, why are you laughing?
What does that mean? With the beginning of the beginning to the end of the end?
I'm explaining it to
you. Yeah, no, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't know this. No,
look,
please.
it's not a movie. It's not a movie. This is real life. It's different. So beginning of the beginning is the launch of the strike. Well, I guess the beginning of the beginning would be Midnight Hammer. The beginning of the end was the MOU. MOU gave us a 60-day extension to find a final peace deal. Now the beginning of the end became the end of the beginning, and the beginning of the new beginning, in which the beginning will continue.
You're trolling me right now. No, you please come on. What
no,
are you saying?
No,
you're fucking with me right now.
This is the only way I can articulate this shit.
When does the 4 to 5 weeks start? Has it started? And is it like that's still not a year? So what the fuck is going on, dude? You're killing me. This has to.
No. So what the president was basically trying to say, he wasn't lying. The beginning. Okay, so. Again, he was talking about 4 to 6 weeks, just to make it very plain and simple, okay? Plain English. He was talking about till the MOU, 4 to 6 weeks till the MOU, which happened. The MOU happened. And the MOU marked the beginning of the 6-week negotiation period that would lead to a final peace deal. Unfortunately, the Iranians spurred out and stopped, okay? So now we're in a new phase of the war. You can pretty much consider it to be a new war, the Iran War 2, where we're in a post-MOU period that we have to now pursue a victory of unconditional.
Would you say that he ended since 2 ceasefires have been violated? Do you think Trump has ended now 2 wars so far in this Iran situation? Since this is a new one, the post-second MOU is a new war. Has Trump ended 2 wars?
No, that was a figure of speech. I didn't mean to say Iran War 2, but this is the only way I can pose it to you. This is basically like a new war. This is
Okay.
a new version of the war, okay? In which we're not seeking peace, we're not seeking an MOU, we're seeking the total unconditional surrender of these crazy people.
So when you say
That's it.
we're seeking the total unconditional surrender, I mean, like, even the Trump admin isn't saying this. So where are you getting this from? They started off saying this, by the way, at the very beginning. Pete Hegseth had to say, like, oh no, hold on, like, don't listen to the president because he's fucking crazy. Like, maybe we'll do that, and maybe it'll be 4 to 5 weeks. I'm not quite sure. So where's this unconditional surrender demand coming from? Like, I'm not seeing this from the admin. Maybe I missed something, or like I'm not on Truth Social, so I haven't seen what Trump said in the last 2 days. But yeah, where's this admin demanding unconditional surrender thing coming from?
Yeah, so the president was speaking in Turkey a couple days ago,
Mm-hmm.
and he stated to the press that the MOU is off, can't negotiate with these people.
Mm-hmm.
These people are not in line with America in trying to pursue a joint effort and finding some sort of settled agreement.
Wait,
We are
real
not
quick,
going to
what day
prevent
was that
this.
Turkey thing? What do you know? Was that the 8th?
Yeah, it was the 8th to
Okay, because on the 8th he said the ceasefire's over, negotiations can continue, but the war might reignite. So he clearly doesn't think you can't negotiate with Iran. Like, he literally said negotiations can continue. So I'm not sure where you're getting that from. Maybe I missed another
He also
statement.
said that the Iranians are calling them and he's not answering the phone. He's not willing to negotiate. Do you not remember when he said that?
I must have missed that part, but if he says negotiations can
He
continue,
said, we started the bombing again. We started the campaign again. And they called the president 2 times. And the president ghosted them. He didn't want to talk to them. Because how can you talk to these people? We don't want to talk to them anymore. We just want to win. And so we're going back to his original philosophy, which is unconditional surrender. That was the beginning of the war.
where do you see this original philosophy about unconditional surrender? Like, because he said he's not answering the phone, that's the goal. Like, he's usually pretty explicit when he wants the unconditional surrender. I'm not.
So to understand the president, you have to think about things in terms of not what he says, but you have to think about why he's thinking the things that he's saying. Okay, and when you understand how to listen to the president, you'll understand that what I'm saying is completely correct. The president, when he says they called my phone twice, I didn't pick up, is him saying that I'm not willing to negotiate anymore. Let's go and deal with these guys. He said also explicitly that we're going to finish it. The only way we're going to win this is by finishing it. Finishing it means unconditional surrender. It means through war will we win this, okay? Not through negotiation.
Okay. I usually I it's hard to take Trump at his word, but I try my best. I think you're reading like several layers deep into this that I'm not quite seeing. Um I don't know what to say. I mean, like, I don't have the you probably listen to Trump a lot more than I do. Maybe you have the script and I don't, but
I've listened to every single speech he's ever made.
I believe
he's a great guy.
That's the
guy.
first thing I've believed. Do you want to move on to the next point on the
Yeah, what's the next premise?
Yeah, it's the on regime change. So the ultimate objective of the United States foreign policy towards Iran should be the collapse of the current regime. Do you see, has that happened yet, or I guess is that the goal? I think it's actually been kind of contradictory as to whether or not they want regime change, and we absolutely haven't succeeded in it. I mean, I know we don't know where the sun is, but we've killed one leader and replaced them with the leader with the exact same goals and politics. So I'm not quite sure regime change has been accomplished.
Yeah, I think we have reached regime change. I think this is a form of regime change because we took out the theocratic nut jobs and we replaced them with obviously bad people as well. I mean, these are militaristic nationalists that are also a headache, but we're not dealing with people with this religious dogma. Okay, we're dealing with people who just want to militarily crush its opponent. Okay, that's a lot easier to deal with because in a situation in which the Ayatollah or his gay son wasn't laid up in a hospital somewhere and we had to negotiate with them, then we had to go through the whole rigmarole about Islam, and then we got to do the tazkiyah or whatever.
Well, so if regime change has happened, why hasn't there been like a significant shift on like negotiating and like Iran's stated goals?
What does that exactly mean? What do you mean?
Shift? So if there was a regime change, would imply that we want some sort of change in leadership that now has a different goal. So, for example, like, we supported the Shah because the Shah had completely different goals from the alternative. So it would appear to me that if regime change had happened, we would see a shift in Iran's negotiating tactics and goals. We haven't seen that at all. So, like, why do you think there's a regime change if these things haven't changed at all? Like, why would it matter? Like, that's why we want
probably
regime
because
change.
I think probably I understand the question. I think probably because we're still dealing with the vegetable gay son, right? The vegetable-less gay son who's laying up in the hospital somewhere in Tehran. These people still pray to this guy. These people are like still listening to, through him, the words of his father, and
Okay.
through him is where they get the policy from. But if you look at what the foreign minister actually admitted in Switzerland to JD Vance when he said, "Look, we are in a different situation now. We don't have the same people. We can try to find a better way." He said that.
Wait, well,
Aragashi
he said we could find a better way, but the goal of Trump, like you said, is unconditional surrender. So they don't need a better way. They just want to decimate Iran, right?
No, because you misunderstand. We wanted unconditional surrender when we thought that there could be no negotiated settlement. We tried the negotiation, it failed, and now we're back to unconditional surrender.
Well, I thought
You
we
in-
well,
you-
I thought
you
we
tried- you
wanted
tried multiple things at
we
once.
wanted the negotiations to fail, right? That was Trump's or the deal.
We want everything. We want negotiation. We want unconditional surrender. We can have either one. Either way, we win.
What-
Like the president said, either way, we win this war.
What would it take for you to say we lost this war? What would you need to see?
We will never lose this war.
Okay.
It's not even something
No,
I
no,
would
no,
ever
no, no.
even
That's
entertain.
no, please. Like, gauge my hypothetical. What criteria would have to be met for you to be like, dang, we did not accomplish our goals?
I don't even know how to engage with that. I mean, there's just absolutely no way the United States is the strongest military on earth. There's no way we could ever lose this war.
What
That's
would
such
you?
a stupid question.
How would you feel if you didn't eat breakfast this morning?
Look, I'm not trying to do the psychoanalyzing. I just want to talk about what we're talking about right now. You're asking me a very stupid question.
No, this is not a
What
stupid
do you
question.
mean? What do you mean by okay? How would you feel if a bomb dropped on your head right now? I mean, these
I
are
would feel anything.
hypotheticals
I'd
that
die.
you can never
I would
even
die.
fathom.
Look, well, no, I can fathom a
you
bomb
can't
being
even
dropped on my
fathom.
head. I can absolutely fathom that. I would die. That's what I would feel pain for a brief second, and my body would be vaporized, if not shredded apart. So that's how you engage in hypothetical. So the reason I'm asking that is because every single point that I bring up, you are able to finagle into a positive, right? So you say, okay, the MOU falling apart, despite the fact that Trump is touting the MOU as a good thing, is actually a good thing because he wanted it to fail because he wanted to use this to harangue Congress. Now, this is a theory. I have seen no evidence for it, but let's just take this as true, right? Let's just assume this was his goal all along. But then when I bring up, okay, well, they wanted unconditional surrender the whole time then, by your standard, then you're like, no, they wanted both. They also wanted to negotiate. In fact, they're saying that negotiations are going well, and that's a good thing based on the regime change or like who's in charge now. It's like, well, hold on, you're telling me that the MOU was not part of the actual end goal. They wanted the total surrender, and then you say no, he wants everything. So it seems like no matter what I bring up, you're going to be able to funnel into no, that was actually what we wanted the whole time, and post hoc rationalize it. So that's why I'm asking you, what would it need to look like for you to say, actually, this didn't go our way? Like, imagine this fantasy, crazy fanfiction.
We would have to. Okay, I understand. We would have to not accomplish either one of those things. We would have to neither accomplish a negotiated settlement or unconditional surrender. We would have to basically pull out of this war without acquiring any of those two things. And if we do, in fact, pull out of this war without acquiring either a negotiated settlement or an unconditional surrender, if we just walk away like, oh, we fucked up and let's get out of here, then I would consider that to be a loss. But nobody's proposed that yet. That would be the only way I would say, okay, well, the president definitely fucked up with that.
Okay. Do you think we lost Vietnam?
No, I mean, I think it's a little bit more nuanced than just win-loss. I think that.
Do you think we failed to
United
accomplish
States
our
accom-
objectives in Vietnam? Obviously, Vietnam didn't conquer the United States. It wasn't a total war. But do you think that we failed to prevent the spread of the North Vietnamese communist regime, and now Vietnam is a communist country, right? Like, did we lose? Would you say it was a big L?
Yeah, it was a blunder. It was definitely not America's most shining
Okay, so
achievement.
there is a standard, and so theoretically, if something similar to that were to happen in Iran, where we say, here's our intended goals, and we pull out, and it's like, okay, well, we didn't really get a good deal, and also they didn't totally surrender, that would be the metric for, okay, I'm not saying you're saying this is going to happen, just saying that would be the metric for we didn't win, yeah?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. That's all I was trying to get to. And just to be clear,
Yeah, I said that.
by the way, in good faith, what would it look like for me to say we won this war, like it's a big W for America, is if we somehow got control over the strait, is if we got a deal that was better for us than the JCPOA. Like there are obviously metrics where I would say, hey, look, like I don't approve of the illegal war, but Trump could do something that left us, America, in a better position than we were before.
It's not illegal.
Okay, why does
I don't know why you keep calling it illegal.
Well, because it is, like, just definitionally you need congressional approval. And there's
No, you don't. You don't even know what the War Powers Act of 1973 states. The president, under imminent threat, can in fact launch a war, and then after 60 days has to come to Congress for an authorization of use of military force. He doesn't have to go immediately and get congressional approval. He can just launch it, and then 60 days later he has to come and state his case to Congress. So calling it illegal,
and he has not gotten approval, and it's been more than 60 days, right?
Well, we're going to get it soon because we understand now that these people turned down the MOU, which was basically we were giving them a whole new economy, and they turned it down. There's no way you can ever negotiate with people.
Okay, but it's been like 100. It's been 100. It's been like 150 days, right? Like way more than 60.
Yeah. And also,
so wait, does that wait? You told me. I don't know. I don't have it memorized. Does this violate the 1973 War Powers Act or no?
No, it doesn't. Because
wait, why does the 60 days thing matter?
Even if I'll tell you why. Even if we don't get the authorization from Congress, we still have we have other authorizations that are still in the books that we can use. We can use the post 9/11 authorization, which is still in the books. Okay, we have every ability to wage this war in a way that is legal. So for you,
okay, well then, why does he even need congressional approval? Why was he even shooting for this like MOU to fail so he can get congressional approval then if he doesn't need it?
Because we want to get the American people on our side. We want to. We so want the Congress to actually be willing to participate in this. We want to show our allies that we're putting in a good faith effort to actually get the American people on our side. We need the money. We need more money. And this is just the way it is. We can't, if we want to continue using the post 9/11 AUMF, which that's completely fine, but it doesn't defeat the problem of we need that extra 0.5 trillion from Congress.
All right. Well, as of today, we're at 57% disapproval, starting from 47 in March. It seems to be going the exact opposite of.
What poll is that?
This is from the Silver Bulletin, but I can look up other stuff. I think this is like the the 538 former 538 guy. But if you have a poll that shows the Iran war approval going up, I have not seen that. I'd love to look at it.
Well, there was a very interesting Harry Enton poll. You know Harry Enton, right, from CNN?
It sounds familiar, yeah.
100% approval.
Wait, so we're sorry, what?
100%.
Okay, from is this the Republican?
That's a CNN poll. 100% of MAGA supports the Iran war.
Okay, yeah, I would assume that 100% of people that support Trump are going to support what Trump does. That's not the American people,
and did
right?
Trump win the popular vote? Did Trump win the popular vote?
Yeah.
A majority of the country supports the war.
That's not how that works, buddy. I don't know.
Think about it. Think about it. If 100% of MAGA supports the war,
yeah,
and 55% of the country voted for MAGA, that means a majority of the country. Okay, you're laughing because you want your fake polls to be real. Your fake polls aren't real.
Okay, buddy.
A majority of the country supports Trump and supports the war.
If if you went to the popular vote, first of all, it doesn't mean that all those people who voted for him are MAGA. That is why I'm laughing. You got me. Everyone who voted for Trump is not MAGA. Everyone who is MAGA is going to support Trump, it would seem. They have stuck with him time and time and time again. This seems to be like one of the closest thing, other than the Epstein files, to having any denial of support. But yeah, I would assume that MAGA is on board with everything that Trump does for the most part at this point.
Did you just say the Epstein files?
Yeah, I cited that as like another thing that was like just barely something that was able to shift MAGA and his base away from Trump support. But most things, they're just kind of lockstep behind Trump, right?
I don't think anybody cares about the Epstein hoax.
Okay.
Let's see.
Well, we can go on to the next point here. You want to look at the next one?
Would YouTube be open to take questions from my users when we're done? I'm asking for July.
Yeah, let me just skim the rest of the points and see if there's anything we haven't.
Yeah, let's do the rest of the points.
Because let's see, we've got nuclear ultimatum. We kind of talked about that. I'm not quite sure to what degree we've dismantled their nuclear program. I mean, we bombed them last June, and we said, okay, we've set them back for years. If that was the case, then why did we have to invade now? I'm not quite sure, but do you want to cover that at all?
Yeah, so you're saying your response to that is that we didn't There's no proof that we dismantled their nuclear ambitions.
I'm just not sure to what degree we've set back their nuclear program, considering we said that we decimated it last year, and yet we're using that as a metric for whether or not we had to invade this time. Yeah, like
Yeah, so
I don't know to what
to
degree we
illustrate it
should.
very plainly.
Yeah.
So when we did Operation Midnight Hammer, we went into Fordo, Natanz, Isfahan, used those bunker busters, penetrated super deep. Those are big granite mountains, basically causing an avalanche over top those nuclear facilities. The material is still underneath. It's buried, and the reason why we need to get in there and actually dig it up and get the nuclear material out is because we're so afraid that Iran, after a while, if this war does come to a conclusion in which we don't get the nuclear material guaranteed, they're going to go and dig it up and then build all new nuclear sites somewhere else. So the goal of the United States right now has shifted from destroying those nuclear sites to now recovering the material underneath the granite of those nuclear sites. And with that being said, I think that's a good vision for the United States to have, because highly enriched uranium is not easy to come by. It takes years and years to actually enrich it, which is why I say the JCPOA was a bad deal, because if they were up to 50% in 2019, that means they were already enriching beforehand, even during the JCPOA, which means the IAEA was lying to us. Okay? They were. We can't trust these international organizations, the WHO, the United Nations, which teaches children in Gaza how to be terrorists. Look it up. UNRWA schools, they teach children how to be terrorists.
All right.
How could we ever trust? So then now we have a situation in which we have destroyed these nuclear facilities as a total victory for the United States, but also, too, we want to recover the highly enriched uranium or the nuclear dust in order to make sure that these people don't dig it up and then, start all over again.
Yeah, my understanding is that they still have about 1,000 pounds of uranium, and if they wanted to start up production, theoretically they could. I'm not quite sure though, and we're still, it's hard to trust what the administration is saying about their capabilities. I do actually defer to more international independent orgs because they're usually more reliable, especially when they're in line with what America is saying, like back in 2016 during the JCPOA. I'm not sure to the degree that they were already enriching, but whatever. You said so many things there. It's starting to give me a headache. I apologize. I can skim through these and tell me if you. So de-escalation. Oh, sorry. Viability of treaties. The U.S. should refuse to enter into any nuclear or security agreements with the current Iranian leadership. I think you've already kind of said we can't negotiate with these people, right? So they shouldn't enter any agreements. But also we're pursuing everything. But also we're not actually going to negotiate because they've shown that they can't negotiate. So we should just go for total victory. That's kind of your position on this one.
I mean, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, sorry, I'm a little gassed out right now. I work today. You have to also look at it more nuanced. It's not one of those things where you pursue this and then you can't pursue this. You can pursue multiple things at once. There's a way in which the Americans can pursue a negotiated settlement, but if it turns out that it's not going to work out, we can immediately pivot.
Right, but
because we're not taking,
like you said, though, Trump's not
forces.
Intending to. He knows it's not going to work out, and he's just using it as a leverage tool to get Congress to approve.
This is my opinion. I think my opinion is that the MOU was a proof of concept. He hasn't publicly said that yet, but I said in the beginning of the MOU that this was not. People were freaked out and incensed, like, oh my God, we're going to give Iran $300 billion, JCPOA on crack. And I'm like, well, probably not, because if you understand and actually read The Art of the Deal, good book, you should read it. Then you understand that sometimes you have to follow along a line of negotiation, which is actually not going to get anywhere. So that way you can prove to other people, to other benefactors, that we can pursue something else. So I think that's what the MOU was. That's my opinion. I don't know if that's.
Do you think it's a?
Trump was acting in good faith?
Do you think it's a security risk if every single enemy on the planet can read Trump's book and know exactly how he's going to operate and negotiate?
I mean, he didn't know he was going to be president back in the 1980s when he wrote the book.
Yeah, but now,
I think.
Do you think if I accidentally left like my football play-by-play, like in the locker room, and the enemy team got it, should I then follow that play-by-play? For the rest of.
Look, but every negotiator, this man has been a public figure for nearly 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody wanted to find out how he negotiates, they can simply just watch videos or read a book about him. People will write books about him. With him, where they write books. With Biden, they can never. So everybody knows Trump. He's an open book. So the fact of the matter is, this is why I think, in line with his philosophy on how to do deal making, that the MOU was designed to fail, so that way we can convince the American people to give us more money, so that way we can go on to win the war.
Do you think the the Iranian negotiators didn't read Art of the Deal?
I'm sure they did. If there's an Arabic version available, I'm not sure if there is.
Okay. So, point 7 of 10. The United States must be willing to lift economic sanctions as a prerequisite for restoring peace. So I would assume you disagree with this one, right? Like, you don't think that's going to do anything. We need to punish them for their actions, right?
The punishment is simply this: you don't get to have nuclear material. Okay, to them that's like a big punishment. I don't know if you agree or disagree with this. So let me ask you this: do you think Iran should be allowed to have nuclear material within their country?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if they're using it for energy.
Why would one of the most oil-rich countries in the world need nuclear energy?
You can have multiple forms of energy. There's
Why?
nuclear is
Why?
better, right? Do you not agree with that?
Okay, so why do all of a sudden they want to get nuclear energy? Around the same time they started talking about having a nuclear bomb to destroy the big and the little Satan.
Well,
Why don't you? My question to you is this, because you're asking me all these questions. My question to you is this: why do you not take seriously? You got that little shitting ingredient on your face, right? Why do you not take seriously the threat of radical Islamic terror? Why don't you take seriously the threat of Iran as an honest to God adversary to the United States who seeks to harm us and our allies in the Middle East, a region so important to our national security and economic security?
I take national
why are
security
you
very
rolling
seriously.
this off?
I take it very seriously. I think the way that the Trump administration is going about it is ridiculous. I mean, like, you can say, oh, it's because of my shitting and grin. Like, what language do they speak in Iran?
Some speak Farsi, some speak Arabic.
Okay, just checking, because you said Art of the Deal in Arabic.
There's 93 million people in there, and some of them are Shia Muslims, some of them are not, some of them are secular.
Okay.
They're mainly secular.
I was just checking if you knew about the Farsi thing, because you said Arabic for Art of the Deal earlier, and I was a little confused. All right, let's keep going here. On the alliance with Israel.
No, answer that question. Answer that question.
Sorry,
no,
sorry. One more time. What was the question? Do I take seriously the threat?
Why do you not
terrorism?
take it seriously?
I do take
Why
it
don't
seriously.
you take it seriously? Every time I talk about it, you take it seriously, but you don't take seriously the economic terror that Ukraine did on our allies in Europe.
I do
but
take
you
that
don't
seriously.
want. You're just like sitting there
I
trust
the coalition of Western countries supporting Ukraine to say that if that was enough for them to discontinue support, they would have done it. But they obviously don't think that, which is why we continue to fund them. Why what? Why do I trust them?
Are we not in the same way that you tried to gaslight me into believing that we have some sort of outsized leverage over the nation of Israel? Why don't you believe we have outsized leverage over NATO to tell them to stop supporting these crazy people who are blowing up Nord Stream pipeline?
Wait, you don't? Okay, wait. You don't think we have leverage over Israel or NATO?
Well, we definitely don't have leverage over NATO because we can launch our planes from Spain. They blocked us from launching our planes because they had a big conniption fit about the war in Iran. They don't pay us our money. These people are totally delinquent. And on top of that, they're putting us at risk of Article 5 because Germany right now is letting Ukrainian nationals build Flamingo missiles inside of Germany, which makes them eligible under the United Nations for attack. So,
but wait, hold
Ukraine
on.
is putting
what
at
you're
risk
saying
Germany
is totally contradictory, right? Like, if we have and spend all of this money, like Trump has made this point several times, obviously, like, we are going to use that leverage to say, like, hey, we'll pull some of this funding if you don't start paying your fair share. That's what leverage is, right? In the same way we give tons of money to Israel, we give tons of money to NATO, and this gives us some leverage over what they might do because we can say, hey, we might not be giving you all that money, right? This is just... I've never heard anyone say we don't have leverage over these two countries.
I'm just saying, I've watched your videos in the past, and you're very serious when it comes to the Russian threat against Ukraine. But whenever you're talking to somebody about the Iranian threat, it's like you brush it off, and you're like, oh, it's not a big deal.
When have I ever said Iran is not a big... First of all, I don't think
because
Iran...
I just asked you, do you think they should be able to have nuclear material within their country? You said, yeah, sure,
I think the JCPOA was a good way to give them nuclear material that didn't allow them to have a nuclear bomb. Yeah, I was pro deproliferation and pro nuclear energy. That's a good thing.
So then, when you're talking about them being enriched up to 50% in 2019, how does this not like set off a red flag? Ding, ding, ding. These people want to build nuclear weapons. They're not looking for nuclear. What percentage do you have to enrich to have a nuclear power plant?
It's 90%, right?
No, it's 3 to 5%. They were only supposed to be enriched.
Oh no! For a nuclear bomb. Excuse me. I thought you said nuclear bomb, not nuclear power plant.
For a nuclear power plant.
Yeah. No, I'm aware that they were up to 60% after we pulled out of the deal, and they were like, all right, well, if you're going to be sanctioning us and not giving us part of the the benefits that gave us the incentive not to enrich to that, we're going to enrich to that. We're going to escalate things to try to push you back into that.
You don't get there overnight. You don't get there overnight.
Well, you said it was
you don't pull out
years later, right?
You don't pull out an 18 and get 1 year. You don't pull out an 18 and get from 3 to 5% up to 50% in 1 year. They were already enriching. Also, too, they had uranium-235 in their centrifuges, which was supposed to be converted into a non-weapons grade medical isotope for nuclear power plants. They refused to do it. They didn't do it.
So
And
I'm
the
not sure. I'm
IAEA,
not sure about the timeline of this, but
international
again,
organization you love so
American
much,
American intelligence,
they weren't even keeping up on this.
IAEA, American intelligence, and IDF all said they weren't enriching past what they needed to be enriching past. So I don't know where you're getting this. Like, they definitely were, based on the 60% number a year later. Maybe
they lied.
So wait, American intelligence lied. Trump's administration lied.
No.
2018 was Trump's administration, right? Or yeah, like before that we
IAEA, the international organizations, they lied.
Okay, but
they
Trump,
gave us
but
bad
then
information.
But we didn't just go on their information. We had American intelligence that was verifying this. Did they lie?
No, we didn't have any American intelligence verifying this. We couldn't get into the.
You can look up the Secretary of State's statements on enrichment back in 2018, right before we pulled out, and yeah, we had American intelligence.
What did you say?
He said that they weren't violating the JCPOA.
Totally false.
Okay, well, I urge you to look into this. Okay, I don't know if this is. Did I already ask on the alliance?
They also, by the way, they also weren't even supposed to have that isotope. That's the biggest part about it. They weren't supposed to have that isotope. I don't understand how you can sit here and say, "Oh, okay, well, the Secretary of Energy." The fuck was the Secretary of Energy though? Okay, we're talking about
Secretary
the
of
fact that
Defense.
they had this isotope.
Wait, so my understanding is uranium-235, enriching that to 5% and 60%, it's still uranium-235. It's the how much more you're enriching it, right? Like how much of this gas you're getting out. So I'm not quite sure why you're saying they're not supposed to have it. They are to a certain limit.
They're supposed to convert it into a non-weapons grade isotope. They
Okay.
admitted in 2019 that they still had in some of the centrifuges uranium-235, and they said we're working on converting it. They never converted it. They were still doing the enrichment process on this uranium-235, which can be used for weapons grade. Okay, they had weapons grade the entire time they were in the JCPOA. It was a bad deal. There was no oversight, and the only oversight that I know of, maybe I might be wrong, I could be wrong, but the substantial amount of oversight that we had over this deal being carried out was from the IAEA, who's known to lie. They were known to lie.
But also the American.
They're part of the reason why North Korea got nuclear weapons too, by the way.
But again, you don't trust that the American government said this as well, right? The Secretary of State said, no, that didn't happen, that they weren't enriching.
I got to look into it. I don't think he said that. I got to look into it.
Okay, I promise you did. We can Google it, but maybe I can find you the quote. I don't have it in my notes because I didn't know I'd be arguing against empirical fact. All right, these next 3 points are all things we've kind of covered. It's the proxy accountability. What should we do about around funding proxies, and then whether or not America has the executive power versus like congressional power to declare the war. We've covered that a lot too. So I don't know. Do you want to do closings and get people up here? Yeah, we've gone around.
Let's wrap it up. Yeah, let's get some questions. We'll take a couple questions. I'm a little gassed out.
Gotcha.
Okay, if you want to have your question ask personally, raise your hand. Most people are already doing it. Okay, I'm gonna go with John. You get better make it quick though.
Hello. So yes, I have a question for Big Rico. In the beginning, sorry, kind of asked you about it, but I didn't really hear a clear answer. What were the 9 wars Trump ended?
Trump has ended a lot of wars. To be specific, 9. Many of them were in countries far, far away, and this is a testament to how the president promotes peace in the world. Off the top of my head, the 9 are Nigeria.
Are you finishing Googling it?
Okay.
Stop. No, I'm not. My hands are off the keyboard. You can hear me if I'm typing. I'm just trying to remember.
Gotcha.
So much has happened. So much has happened over the last year. I think it was Nigeria. It was definitely the India-Pakistan skirmishes that started. He ended that very quickly. We had something with Azerbaijan and Tajikistan that he ended as one of the stans over there in Central Asia. There were some problems between Sudan. I think there were some issues in the Congo that he stopped. He's working on stopping the genocide in South Africa. and just many other. I can't remember them all off the top of my head, but mainly in Africa and Central Asia.
There was
Some in
too
India
many.
and Pakistan.
Too many to keep track of all of them. That's the answer. How could you possibly? 9 seems too low in my opinion. I think he's already ended 2 wars in Iran so far because we are in the 3rd Iran war after the 2nd ceasefire has been violated. So
I mean, what is this? A fucking pop quiz? I mean, what do you want from me? I just told you what I remember
Okay,
off the top of my head.
no, you answered it. No,
Okay, you answered it. You answered it. We're moving on to a new person.
Right.
Okay. Blank, you're next. And Blank, you better behave. I know who you are. Get on stage, Blank.
God. Nigga, you're a hater. Go ahead, Lil Ho. Yo, Lil Ho is the greatest hater ever. Fuck am I supposed to remember these 9 wars?
Lil Ho, are you trying to speak?
No, I was typing in side chat. Go ahead. What's up, Blank?
Hi. Yeah. Hi.
Hello.
Who's the more retarded one here?
What's your question? Come on. Like, is that your question?
All right. If what if, like, listen, what if FIFA, right?
Yeah. All right. Good cook.
Yeah, I was just about to do that. Sorry. I told him to behave, and he couldn't. Okay.
All right. So real quick, I just want to say, Rico. So this is you can just Google Rex Tillerson nuclear deal. So Secretary of State Rex Tillerson certified Iran's compliance with the 2015 JCPOA.
Yeah. Rex got fired. He was a bad guy. He got fired. I remember Rex Tillerson.
Okay. So this is a text question from Daylight the Ballot, and it's for Rico. If the Iranian war is raising oil prices, is Russia benefiting from the war? And if so, are there an ally of Iran or China?
Okay, so my I'll let Soipel answer this too, but also my answer is we shouldn't be adversaries with Russia in the first place. I think it was a very foolhardy decision for the Americans to make themselves adversarial to the 3rd largest nation in the world. They have a $12 trillion energy market, which we can use in the pursuit of protecting these Eastern European countries that we get nothing out of. I mean, we made ourselves enemies of Russia, of Putin, who's a good guy. Putin's actually a good guy because of the Caucasus, because of Georgia, because of Ukraine. These countries provide nothing to the United States. So, of course, when we raise the world's energy prices, of course, that's a boon to Russia, but it should also be a boon to us. Look, we have to try to get along with Russia. We can't be pushing Russia into the arms of China like Joe Biden did for 4 years straight and strengthening BRICS. If you're really worried about Russia, what you should be saying is the United States should do everything in its power to actually become friendly to Russia as opposed to being its adversary. Because if we can link our two energy markets together, then we could actually be a lot richer than we are right now. We could totally cut out the GCC countries, our reliance on those.
Rico, I think that's a really good idea. Shouldn't we become allies with Iran too and link our energy departments?
No, because they want to kill us.
Yeah, but like we should like negotiate and like link our energy departments so like we could become stronger, right?
We just tried that. We just did this whole thing with this whole.
Yeah, but we should keep trying. I mean, like Russia probably like is obviously adversarial to us, right? Like I bet if we tried right now, like they wouldn't because we're funding the war in Ukraine and helping kill Russian soldiers. But if we somehow were like get to the negotiating,
you think that's
like,
a good thing? You think that's a good thing to kill Russian soldiers?
No, it's not. We should become allies and link our energy sectors. But we should do that with Iran too, right?
Okay. No, we shouldn't, because Iran is ideologically and dogmatically against us. They're never going to drop their religious theocratic belief that we're the little Satan and Israel's the big Satan. We can never concede that, oh yeah, you know, we're the little Satan, but hey, guess what? We're going to help you out. We're going to make you rich. We're going to let you build a nuclear bomb. That's crazy.
Okay,
I don't understand.
But Russia already has nukes.
Again, this goes back to the thing that I said to you before. You don't take seriously the threat of Iran.
No, I absolutely do. No, I don't. I just think that it would be better if we were allies because, like, then we could work together instead of.
How could you be allies with people? How could you be allies with people that want to kill us?
You don't think Russians want to kill us?
From a foundational level, they want to. No, the Russians don't want to kill us. The Russians tried to become a part of NATO and the EU in the early 2000s. Yeah, the Russians tried that,
Russians
and we
tried
pushed
to
them away because
join NATO?
Russia. Putin made a speech in front of the EU, and he said that Russia is no longer the Soviet Union. He's a different person. He believes in the tenets of democracy.
Hmm.
I want to be a part of the West, and we refused because he went down and invaded. What's the name of that place? It's right
Georgia.
above Georgia.
Oh,
No, it's right above Georgia. He did something in the Caucasus. I can't remember. Chechnya. He invaded Chechnya. He did the thing in Chechnya. And then we crashed out because we have like this ideological
this is totally
thing
true.
going
I'm
on.
actually learning something
And
right
then
now.
now, all of a sudden, we're enemies with the third largest nation on earth with a $12 trillion energy market. And it's like, for what? We could have gotten rid of ISIS, not in 2015, but in 2012, if we were allied with Russia. But then Barack Hussein Obama, if you remember, went on this campaign against Russia and Syria, when all it ended up with was the fall of Bashar al-Assad and the implantation of this HTS radical.
Okay. All right. So they're different. I guess Russia and Iran aren't there. I just thought it was a suggestion, but we can go to the next question.
Yeah. We're going to go with truth. Come on here.
Yo, what's good, everybody? It was a good debate. Quick question. So, to the stockpile topic, how do you guys contend both speakers with, from what I read when I pull up the sources, that we've used hold on, I actually just had it pulled up. Where was it? Matter of fact, I think I put that shit in chat too. Roughly, we've used like over 30-40% of our missile stockpile compared to Iran's used like, I think roughly the same. But so the asymmetry is essentially we're using multi-million-dollar missiles that are being combated with drones that are like $10,000 to $50,000, and their missiles are targeting, Iron Dome protected targets. They're not shooting missiles at our vessels. They're shooting missiles at like military installments, bases, and Israel. So earlier the conversation was about the stockpiles. My question was like, if we have the correct figures and we're looking at this correctly, it looks like America's missile stockpile is running low. Iran's is not great, but their drone capacity is at like 50 to 80,000, and they're using their drones against our missiles. Does that change the conversation about?
Wait, we're running out of missiles? When are we running out of missiles?
Well, so we've used 50% of THAAD. We've used, where was it? I just had it up. Hold on, sorry, where'd it go?
Well, just before you even state I mean, like, let me just jump in here and help Rico just a little bit. Like, we can absolutely resupply that stuff without a doubt. I don't think we're going to be, depleting our stockpiles to the point where like we're unable to continue doing this to a significant degree. But obviously, what I think you would agree with, Truth, is that Iran is not hurting enough where they can't continue this for a very, very long time, to the point where it becomes unviable for us to do it, even if we wouldn't run out of missiles or lose in some sort of total war situation. So yeah, like, this is not some, like, we'll win tomorrow, we'll win in a week. Like, the international experts say if Iran can hold out because they are the smaller group, or the smaller country, that's a victory for them, so long as they don't allow US complete control and they capitulate, which it seems to be the case. That's what's good.
So I actually got the numbers pulled up here.
Hey, Mercado Gaming rated me. Thanks, Andrew Mercado people. Good to see you.
For ATA CMS and 20%
we can
rearm.
We can rearm. Yeah, we can rearm. It's no problem.
Hold on real quick. And to that point, when it comes to our missile manufacturing, all the proprietary stuff is kept under lock and key locally, but the rare earth minerals, which are necessary for the guidance material, which makes the missile useful. Without that guidance material, without that chip, that software, it's useless, right? So that rare earth
what the president has already stated,
that rare
it doesn't come from China. It doesn't come from China. No, I already know you're going to go there.
Yes, it does.
It doesn't come from China.
Hold on, I have a quote here. The U.S. Government Accountability Office warned that many critical defense materials are literally coming from China, creating a strategic vulnerability.
No. We have other places that we can get the raw materials. Hang on. We got other places we can get the raw material. The president just announced that we're upping production in the Congo. We're upping the production. They have to produce 10 tons more because we need this.
Facilities don't start overnight. The refinement process and the manufacturing capacity can take 15 to 20 years to roll out.
No, it's already there.
Okay.
We just have to pull more out. We have to pay more money. It's okay.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, obviously there are concerns with like how fast we can produce these missiles, and I think at a certain point it might become strategically inviable. So ultimately, I do agree with you, Truth. But and this is, I think, a bad thing. I trust our military-industrial complex to find and take what it needs to keep doing stupid shit. But I don't know to what degree they'll do that, or what weapons will shift to continue.
It's already been taken
Iran.
care of. You don't think that before we started this war, the president wasn't thinking about, oh, where am I going to get this material from? We already figured it out. We're upping production all over Africa. We're pulling stuff out of the ground at a faster rate than ever before. We have all the raw materials we need. As far as rearmament goes, we have the greatest industry on the planet, and it can't be touched, unlike Iran's industry, because they don't have any missiles. They can't bomb it. Okay, so we can sustain a much longer period of war than they can. And we don't even have to rearm in a sense, because it's going to end very quickly. It's going to end very quickly. If we sustain this for about a year, they'll capitulate 100%.
Right. Well, your projections are a little farther than Trump's, by the way. I don't know when the 4 to 5. I remember we were doing beginning of end, but I think we're way past the 4 to 5 weeks, and I don't think anyone has said it'll go on a year. That does not look good for him, and it's going to tank his midterm chances. And
it was
maybe
4 to 5 weeks to the MOU. No, we got the midterms on. We got the midterms 100%. We already did the.
Oh shit! All right. Well, okay.
Do you guys mind if we move over to a new person?
Yeah, please. Sure. Thanks, Truth.
Okay. Yeah, nice to have you, Truth. Okay. This is either going to be a good thing or a bad thing I'm going to do here.
Hello, Soy Boy. My question is for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, earlier you said that you want us to be allies with Iran, and given that when the Islamic Republic got into power, when the Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini was exiled in France, and we under Jimmy Carter,
I can save you some time. I don't think we should be I don't think we should be allies with Iran.
I was
trolling.
Thank you. So
I'm saving you time because you're arguing against a thing I made up to make Rico sound stupid based on what he was talking about with Russia. I don't think we should be allies with Iran.
Yeah, I think that was just him being.
That's what you said.
Yeah, and I'm telling you my real position. If you couldn't read subtext, I know this server's full of autists who can't read body language, and when I'm like trying not to laugh while I say the most ridiculous statements possible, that means I'm joking. But no, I don't think we should be allies with Iran.
But that was your.
And there was absolutely nothing ridiculous about saying we should be allied with Russia. By the way, we should be allied with Russia.
So then I will say I'll reword it. Why shouldn't we be allied with Iran? Through overthrowing the Islamic Republic and putting in the Reza Pahlavi, who can then sell oil to the West and give us national security, stop undermining the region, the stability of the region, and we'll have a much better and safer future.
If you're asking me, why don't we just make every enemy?
I just asked you. I don't need you to fucking.
Holy shit.
All right.
Okay, guys.
So let me answer this question real quick. Yeah, would it be good if countries that were not allied with us had pro-American people installed? Yeah, but look at the American history of trying to do that, especially in Iran, and tell me that it's working out for us. So no.
Yeah, so we're moving to Dead Beef. You have the floor.
Yo.
Afterwards, it's Juice.
Thank
and then
you.
there's questions on if you can get up here.
Yeah, thank you guys. So I was listening to debate and I noticed there was a discussion or a brief talk about how Trump won the popular vote, right? So when Trump was campaigning, right, like he was actually campaigning a lot around being anti-war president, right? And he was pretty much saying I'm not going to be the president to go to war and everything, right? Except then he still decides to go to war with Iran, and the MAGA approval rating has dropped by like 30-70% or something crazy. Only hardliners are.
Those are fake polls.
Okay, so those have been polled by Washington Post and Politico. Those are fake.
Fake news.
Is CNN fake news?
CNN is fake news.
Yeah, CNN fake news, Rico. Because Rico. Because the CNN poll said that 100% of MAGA approves of this, but is that fake?
No, it's not fake. I mean, it was just too big to.
Okay, so
too big to rig, baby. All right.
So again, I just want to say my question. If I can finish my question out here, right? Like, I think, Rico, you said that a lot of the anti-Trump people are always lying about things, and we should not trust them. But the fact is that Trump lied about getting elected. The things he promised him, he lied about. Now he goes to war. Approval rating on MAGA supporters have declined by like 70%.
What is the question? What's the
If you
question?
look at the actual numbers that he did get elected on, I think there was like 31,000 lies that he said,
Are
quoted,
you asking
like
if Trump
documented.
contradicted what he said on the campaign trail?
I'm just saying that it's sort of interesting that you nitpick and
What is
choose
the question?
what is like, what's a line we should go against, and then
What is the
Are you going to
question?
ask? Are you going to ask the question? Otherwise, I'm just going to pull you down.
No, he's just up here to genuflect. That's
I
it.
think he wants to debate Rico soon, and you should
what
set
I
it
was
up.
muted.
Yeah, so I'm going to
Ask
pull
the
you down.
question.
Anyway,
Okay.
no, it's
I can address that though. I actually want to address that. It's so important. First of all, yes, the president was saying no new wars, but also the president has been saying for the last 10 years that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. And he was going to do everything in his power to make sure that that did not happen because we understand the threat of Iran having a nuclear weapon. So it's not a contradictory thing for the president to go to war against the one country that he promised to go to war with, that they pursued a nuclear weapon.
But it is contradictory to say no new wars if he intends to go to war, right?
Well, we never intended for Iran to try to pursue a nuclear weapon. We never intended for them to be enriched up to 65% in 24. We never enriched for Iran to continue down this chant of death to America. We never anticipated Iran killing 40,000 of their protesters in the streets. We never anticipated Iran to double down on the terroristic machinations of their proxies and allow Hamas to attack Israel on October 7th.
Well, sure, yeah, but like if Trump was more honest, he would say like, "I don't want to start any wars, not I will start no new wars."
I don't look. He said for 10 years. The answer to the question is he said for 10 years he will go to war with Iran if they try to pursue a nuclear weapon. So it's not a contradictory statement.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna go with two more people. Oh wait, we go with Juice, then Jen Washington, and after that we have two more people, and then we're done. So Juice, what do you want us to ask?
I want to ask Soy Pill and Rico, what do you think are the chances of us doing boots on the ground like an invasion? And if so, how do you think the American people react to it?
Sure. It's hard to put like a percentage on it, and I'm not like an international geopolitics expert. It would seem to me that as this war, you did that one already. Good job, man. As this war continues, it's losing approval with the people that actually matter. Not MAGA though, as you said, 100% approval. Obviously, it's going to become way more unpopular if we're putting American lives at risk. I mean, I'm interested how many lies Rico would be willing to lose American-wise to lead to unconditional surrender. I think most Americans are up to 0 right now. What is it, like 13 or 14 people have died, which is not good. I don't think we're going to do boots on the ground because I don't think Trump wants that. I think it's going to make him incredibly unpopular. But it's a possibility. It's really hard to say.
So we will at some point have to do some boots on the ground. But this only comes after we've totally degraded Iran's capacity to harm our troops to the extent that we can. And the fact that we have, I keep saying this, air superiority over Iran is a big factor in making sure that the United States can make safe the country, the region that we want to, the part of the country that we want to invade, like Karg Island or Bandar Abbas, make it safe enough for a landing. So with that being said, I'm not willing to lose anybody to pursue this war. Nobody wants to lose anybody. I'm so sad for the 13 troops who did die. War is awful. It's one of those things that you have to do sometimes to make sure that your country is safe. But we will, in fact, degrade them enough to make sure that they're not killing so many of us. And that's the only thing we can do. These people want to destroy us, and we can't let that happen. This is a war of necessity.
If it's a war of necessity, why do you think that we attacked, and the stated reason that Marco Rubio gave was that Israel forced our hand?
So I think that the secretary was misspeaking when he said that. He later retracted, but I can dive into his frame of mind when he did say that. The reason why
I'm good on psychoanalysts. We're good. I'm
no,
not.
I can explain
okay,
why.
No, okay.
I can explain why. Thank you.
Well, he didn't write Art of the Deal, so I'm always confused by Marco Rubio. So
yeah. When Mark said that, what he was basically saying is Israel was going to take up the opportunity of the instability that was going on in Iran during the protest. And they were going to take this up because in the beginning, we believed there's an opportunity to actually go in and destabilize it even more to foment a civil war within this country or a revolution. And so I think Israel, what Mark was trying to say is that Israel was going to go either way. We can join them or not, but this has no bearing on the United States being forced into this war. We weren't forced. We took the same opportunity that Israel took. It was a good opportunity. And that's why you had television ads. We hacked into their TVs and we had President Trump on their screen saying, like, look, we're doing this right now to give you the conditions which will be necessary for a revolution. We want you to take back your country. And the Iranian people, for whatever reason, they didn't do it. Suddenly they all became hardline Ayatollahs. So that's the problem. Israel was going to go.
Okay.
Would it be okay we move on to the next person so we can get
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for answering.
Thank you, Juice, for that question. So Jim, you're up.
All right, question Soy, a question that you had posed previously. I'm looking at reversing the order of it. You posed to Rico about what would be the parameters of a defeat in this war. Understanding that ultimately victory or defeat is going to be defined by the parameters of the intent of either the President of the United States or if he deferred this to somebody else's decision making. Understanding that, what do you call or perceive under those terms victory to be?
I kind of already answered this, but I reject the idea that it's like dictated by the intent of the admin, because if we went off that, then we've won this war like 12 times, because that's what Trump has said. What really matters is, does America come out in a better position than when we started? Do we have more leverage over Iran? Have we, significantly set back their ability to, engage in proxy wars? There are lots of different criteria here, and I think there are things that are going to be beneficial to America, and I think there are things that are not going to be. I think we've clearly set them back in terms of nuclear capability and in terms of, being able to fund these proxy wars, but at what expense, right? Our economy, the world economy is not doing so well. Gas prices are going up, and we might even go into a recession over this. I don't know if that's worth it. If you are to believe that they were about to get a nuke and use it, I think this is ridiculous. But, if that was the case, it would be existential. And of course, gas prices would be worth it. I don't think that's the case. I think that right now we're not looking at this was worth it, we won. It depends on how it goes. Maybe Trump turns it all around and we get this fucking awesome deal a couple weeks from now, or an unconditional surrender and total control over the strait and total control over a huge chunk of the world's energy supply. I don't see that happening, but it could be the case. But I absolutely am not going to let the admin dictate it. I think that's ridiculous.
Okay, so then to Rico, did you understand when this question is being posed that ultimately this is not about the admin, but rather whatever arbitrary system of valuation that you or somebody else holds into determining whether this is a net victory or loss?
So America is the greatest nation on earth, and we have the greatest military known to the entire world. What I think, right, and what I know is a metric of victory is not going to be something that's arbitrary. It's going to be based upon two very specific things that we either can or cannot achieve. It's going to be either unconditional surrender or a negotiated settlement. And if we can't achieve those two things, it's not like victory is not like some arbitrary, like, what are you trying to say to me right now? What's up with these?
So the arbitrary is the way in which he's placing a certain value as to whether or not he deems it to be a victory or not is on the basis of what he wishes to see, not specifically a unified, whatever the person who started this war with an intent. Their intent doesn't matter to him. It's only what he sees as a good or negative. Not what you see as a good or negative, but what does he see as a good or negative, and that's how he defined it.
As in
Therefore,
the swipe bill?
Yes. Therefore, using that rule, it's for you to answer the question by the same rule. It's just whether you see it to be a negative or a positive. What would you deem a negative end to this war?
Oh, I already said it. Yeah, okay. A negative end to this war would be we withdraw without acquiring either an unconditional surrender or a negotiated settlement. in which in both scenarios, we have to get the nuclear material out of that country.
Does that satisfy you, Soy, as far as his answer?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Okay, so Monster gets to go, and then Escapist, and then we're gonna say quit.
Yeah, I gotta
So
wrap
go
up
ahead,
soon here.
Monster.
Thank you so much, Q. Anyway, I love your channel, Soy Pill.
Thank
Keep
you.
up the good work, bro.
I'll try my best.
Also, stop being nasty meat eater, please. Thank you very much.
I
Also,
literally
Rico.
just made a video on going vegan.
I know, I watched it. You're
Okay.
sickening. Anyway, Rico. Question. So, how do you become a Trump translator? I'm very curious how you can do that stuff. Every time Trump says something, you turn it to something you didn't actually say. How do you become a Trump translator?
You have to listen. You have to listen intently. You have to understand the things that the president is trying to say might not necessarily be what comes out of his mouth. The president speaks in parables, or he genuflects, or he says things that aren't, what is in line with what he's actually trying to say, but is also related. And so what you have to do is you have to listen to everything in totality. And then what you also can do, if you want help, actually, this is a good way to do it. You can simply take a transcript of any Trump speech and put it into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT, what does Trump actually mean by this? And that's the way that sometimes I have to go and understand, because Trump is a very busy man. He's somebody who has the genius, and sometimes it's hard for him to articulate, much like myself. So it just comes down to how to interpret it. Is you have to just listen. It's that simple.
Wait, I need some help translating this one. So on March 9th, Trump said, objectives were pretty well complete and the war will be over very soon. What does that mean? I don't have ChatGPT open.
You said objectives are pretty much complete and there will be an end soon?
Yeah.
That's exactly what it means.
Okay.
So he's talking about the fact that we've totally militarily degraded Iran. He's talking about the fact that we're in the position of leverage. We have the paths forward. They don't. They have a path back. The only way they can move is back. We're backing them into a corner, either through military means or diplomatic means. We will win this war. Right. And really the ball's in their court.
But like, what does very soon mean? Is very soon like a week? Is it a year? What's very soon?
You'd have to ask the president.
Hold on. I thought he translates. I need the translation.
Yeah. In my opinion, I think that we'll probably be over and done with this war and have victory in about a year.
Okay.
Maybe less.
Wait, on March 13th, when Trump said, I can't tell you how long it will last. Can you translate that one for me? Does that mean a year?
This was March 13th?
Yeah.
And what did he say before that?
Well, before that he said, objectives were pretty well complete and the war will be over very soon, on March 9th.
No. And say the entire phrase, because the thing that people do with Trump is they take a little piece of what he said and they never say the full sentence. I can't understand based off a little snippet of a sentence. You have to tell me the full sentence.
I don't have the full transcript in front of me. I'm sorry. These are from my notes.
I don't mean to be a cock block or anything, but can we move to the final?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry about that. I was just trying to. I really wanted to defer to the expert. Sometimes Trump confuses me. So,
well, Escapist, what is your question?
Hi. First of all, I'm a big fan of yours. Well, not really big fan. I just found about your channel, Soy Pill, but it seems really cool. So
thank you.
I just say that. But my question is about the Islamic extremism thing. I do agree that Iran is highly extreme and it's Islamic ideology, and overall it's just against the West thing. But I think a thing I would like to point out is that Pakistan, which also has nukes, was actually kind of helped out by the U.S. back in the day under Clinton, but also under Bush before him, and has nukes now, and is also a highly extreme Islamic country with similar ideals to Iran. And the U.S. actually stopped India, which was a rival of Pakistan, by telling them not to intervene militarily. So does it not seem like a double standard to some of you that the U.S. would allow Pakistan just for the temporary gain of stopping India, which was a little close to Russia at the time, but like be against Iran getting a nuclear weapon, even though Pakistan and Iran are
Yeah,
at
yeah.
least pretty similar
I
in
don't
things.
think there's anything wrong with allying ourselves with fundamentalist Islamic countries if it benefits us. I mean, I think we should push for, you know, them to end humanitarian crises. So like, yeah, we're really big allies right now with Saudi Arabia. But you know, they do stuff in Yemen that I think is abhorrent, and we should be leveraging that ally pressure over them. And I think theoretically, there's a world where we could be allies with Iran. I think, you know, you look at the JCPOA as the ground rule, and like, where does that go from there? I think you could theoretically get to that, to a point where maybe we had similar relations like we do with Saudi Arabia. I don't know. Like, I'm not a, again, get ready, cue it up, Rico. I'm not a geopolitics expert. That's where you say
You're
I can
learning,
tell.
though.
No,
You're
you're
learning,
supposed
though.
to say I can tell there. But yeah,
No,
I
I'm
think
actually
I don't think there's
optimistic.
anything wrong with necessarily allying ourselves with someone who's like theocratic. But I would prefer they are not theocratic, and I prefer we leverage that allyship to make them become better people. So.
And Rico, what would your thoughts be on the Pakistan alliance that the US once had, even though it was also an Islamic extremist state, and the US eventually helped it get nuclear weapons?
So Pakistan, the reason why we had the alliance is because Pakistan was in a strategic position to actually help out the United States. They didn't have this dogmatic belief or dogmatic alignment against us. Simply because they are an Islamic nation doesn't mean they're a radical Islamic nation. There's a big distinction between those two things. Pakistan doesn't fund terror proxies around the world. Pakistan doesn't help out Al Qaeda, doesn't help out ISIS. Pakistan is a somewhat good ally. I mean, they're good mediators in the sense that
Didn't Pakistan harbor
they're easier
Osama
to
bin
talk to.
Laden? Isn't that where we found him?
Yeah, but I don't think they knew. I don't think they knew.
Oh, okay.
According to the CIA, they didn't know. They didn't know he was there. So yeah, that's the big distinction between Pakistan and Iran. You can't compare Pakistan and Iran, because when you look at their government structure, number one, Pakistan isn't under a theocratic leadership that believes that this guy that's in charge of their country is linked to Muhammad or some crazy nonsense like that. They don't chant that to America. These people are very pragmatic in their Islamicism, and so therefore they're a good ally, just like the GCC countries, just like not Israel, but other Jordan,
Arabia,
Egypt.
you say probably, right? Like a good ally, like Saudi Arabia or something like that.
Saudi Arabia is a great ally. I wish they would buck up right now, but you know they're kind of pussying out. That's okay.
Just to be clear, Pakistanis say death to America all the time, so it's not necessarily the politicians in power, but there's plenty of anti-American sentiment there.
The people, not the government. The government doesn't have the structure, which is wholly set up. Their what do you call them? Their hadiths or whatever don't constantly profess a want to destroy the West, destroy Israel, destroy America.
Would I be able to put on an add-on question queue with the answers that they gave, or is there?
What?
My just add. It's just a quick question. It's basically just, since are willing to ally with Muslim countries, just not like theocratic ones, would we be more willing to like give Turkey a place as a rival to Iran to more balance it out without getting directly involved? Would that be a strategy either of you, Soy Pill or Rico, be willing to try to put in place at some point, or at least support by the U.S. in the future?
I don't know. What do you think, Soy?
Sorry, I totally spaced out. What were you asking?
Would you be willing to get Turkey to rival Iran as like a kind of geopolitical balance?
I'm not going to be able to
where-
answer this question with any amount of like qualification of like, would this be a good or bad thing? I'd have to read like a bunch of people talking about it and what the implications would be. So I'm not going to give you a satisfying answer.
I mean,
just make it
Turkey's
look
in
stupid.
NATO. Turkey's in NATO. I mean, they can help us. They have the capacity to help us. I just don't think there's any need for Turkey to step in right now. They're taking a position of neutrality for a very good reason, because of the proximity. And if Iran was to attack Turkey, that would place us into an Article 5 situation, which the NATO countries who quote unquote love us so much, who's so scared to get into this conflict with us.
So I think we're just gonna. I think like, is it okay if we can like call it quits here?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm out.
Thank you.
Let's do one final question.
Okay, I have one.
We'll do one last.
Okay, I have one.
I'm gonna like. Okay. I have one in like in mind here since actually. Do you mind if I take this? All right, we'll do two final questions.
Okay, but then let me
bring on.
let me do mine here.
You want to do yours? You want to do this first? Okay. Fine.
I'll
Very
take responsibility.
well.
All right, since I got pulled off in 30 seconds, which was less than everybody else, and since Soy Boy can't answer a fucking
Why the fuck
question
did you
without
bring him
changing
back?
it, to answer your
Like, pay for it.
to respond to you, we have done very well with overthrowing regimes. The entire Middle East is basically pro-Western outside of Iran, including Iraq, South Korea, Germany, Japan, Thailand, Philippines. All pro-West because of our intervention. You can even go to Austria. You can go all over Europe. World War I, World War II, Cold War. We have the Korean.
I think
Korean War.
you're
We've got-
missing a
You're
bunch
just
of
a fucking
examples from
retard
like
that
the
doesn't know shit
60s
about
to the
dick about
90s. You're throwing in a lot of really good examples
Yeah,
from
you
the
don't know
40s, and you're
about
missing
fucking
Drew,
a lot of
we're
them.
gassed out, bro. We're gassed out. We just debated for like an hour and a half. Do you have like a clear, concise question?
Well, he doesn't know anything.
That's not a
What do we
question,
ask
buddy.
Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Go home to mom.
See, what
I
was
would
doing here,
ask
what I was
him
doing-
to Google the continent
All right. Let's,
Central
we're moving
South
on, we're moving
America.
on.
Just go look at those. That'd be fun.
we're gonna get to our last question. We're gonna get to our last question, boys.
All right, let's
Yeah.
do it.
Get up here, Esme.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes,
I
we
have
can
a
hear you.
question for Big Rico.
What's your question?
I was just like wondering if you could ontologically explain how windmills cause cancer.
All right. So, from what I understand about, and I'm going to be a little goofy about this because I think we're all ready for a laugh. Windmills, okay. They make it's not necessarily that they cause cancer, but they make a lot of noise, okay? So you wake up in the morning, you have to hear it. It's like the worst thing in the world. People who live in Wyoming, people who live in Washington, people who live everywhere where these windmills are just being rooted up like trees, they have to wake up under this like windmill regime that they have to listen to every single day. They can't even open up their windows. People complain about data centers, how much noise they make, right? These people deal with it 24/7 when the wind. It's enough. We're done with windmills.
Like I live in a city that has a bunch of windmills next to it, so I'm not that far from any windmills. So I don't really like I don't believe I have cancer, right? So I'm just wondering, like ontologically, how do
Okay, all right.
windmills?
Well,
I
yeah,
see you
anecdotal
aggressively.
evidence isn't evidence. Nice try, Esme.
No,
You
I-
all
might,
right, let me just
you
say this.
might have cancer, okay?
Mashallah,
No,
mashallah, windmills do not cause cancer. Okay, I said it. They
No,
don't
I
cause cancer.
understand that, like they cause
The president was right.
noise and everything, but that's not cancer. That's like a medical condition, not just something that's annoying for you. So
They're just very noisy. They're annoying. They don't produce enough energy.
They
There's no
kill
point
the
in spending all
birds.
the money on them.
So many dead birds like
Well,
you've
it's
never
also-
seen.
It's
okay,
just
is
a
that
goofy
your
thing to replace
ontological
everywhere.
proof?
I don't know what the ontological. I don't know what ontological means.
So we're done.
We're done.
I guess that was the last question. Let's go.
Okay, so I want to thank all of you for coming here today. This was an event in the making, I think almost like a month. Took a lot of sweat, energy, and time. We're very, very happy that all of you got here, and we hope to see one of these here in the near future.
And I
Yeah,
appreciate the putting the date so far in the future because it allowed Trump to fumble over and over and over again. Like if it had been a month ago, I would have
Shut the
had
fuck
1
up,
month
you
less
goofy
of
ass
fuck
person.
ups. So I appreciate
shut the
the,
fuck up. You're goofy.
the forward.
Soy, first of all, I want to say, Soy, I appreciate you coming here to try to defend your losing ideology. And when we do win this war, I'll make sure I'll dedicate a hat, a MAGA hat, a yellow one, just for you. I'll send it to your house.
Okay.
It's
Hey,
gonna be
look.
nicer than the hat that you have on. A yellow MAGA hat.
I'll accept.
Your logo.
Hey, you know what? I'll take it right now. If we win the war by your definition, we get unconditional surrender, or what was the other one? We get control over the strait using our negotiating tactics. I will accept defeat and I will wear the hat for a stream just for you, buddy. Okay.
Perfect. I like the sound of that. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming. We had a good time.
Thanks for hosting, guys.
Real quick, I just want to say that what I did earlier with Lucifer, that was just my little last thing here, a little dessert for you all. I'm very sorry for that I had to subject you guys to this, but hey, we all have our needs. But thank you all for coming. Do you have something you want to say, Dark Master?
No, just
Dark.
that this has been politics. Yeah, just that this has been politics. Thank you everybody that joined. Thank you for coming on, Soy Pill. Thank you for debating as well, Rico. And yeah, we'll catch you guys next
Can I
time.
ask one last question for Rico? Rico, do you believe in
Yeah,
do you believe in dinosaurs?
Do you believe men can become women?
I'll answer my yours if you answer mine.
It's probably going to be just as dumb as each other's answers.
I believe men can present as women, and I will call them women, and trans women are women. Do you believe that dinosaurs are real?
I believe aliens can present as dinosaurs.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Take care.
Okay, everybody. That was I was really worried because I was thinking, guys, I didn't get any sleep. I'm tired. I had a horribly delayed flight. 7 a.m. past 12 to 12 a.m. It was terrible. And I forgot I was debating a fucking moron, so it doesn't matter, like I can just say whatever I want. Real quick, I do want to show you what those dang things are supposed to look like. Let's see here. If I go to live scene and I let me bring up these little emotes. I love these little emotes, man. Let's see. What display is this? It's that display? Yeah, that's fine. Let's make that full screen. So we've got the soy yap here. They're supposed to be animated, so when I finally get a Twitch, I'll do this. These are courtesy of the soy sauce. That's the soy angry yap. And then we've got that's the soy regular yap, so you guys can spam those once I get that working on Twitch, I guess. I gotta get monetized. But yeah, they're not animated. They're not working here.